All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Cavalcade Spring Fling. And we are all, all in our places with bright, shiny faces. I remember that from childhood. Who remembers that from childhood? I'm just saying. Okay. So in that, it's a tribe half hour, and we're going to start kicking this off with intros, 30 seconds to 1 minute. And I'm going to started with JL. When you're done, you throw it to another person that is on screen and work from there. So JL Campbell, you can kick us off.
Good morning, everybody. I'm JL Campbell. I'm a national best-selling author who writes contemporary, paranormal, sweet romance, romantic suspense, women's fiction, and young adult novels. To date, I've published 38 stories, and they are usually set in Jamaica. As I like to say, I am exploring Jamaica one story at a time. Next up, we'll have Dr. V.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Howard. I'm affectionately known as Dr. V. They say a cat has 9 lives, and I've used all of mine, yet I am still standing. So through my writings, you will learn how I've learned to navigate through life. I'm Dr. V. You can find me on all social media. Now I will turn it over to Janet.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Janice M. Allen. I have written 2 novels, 2 women's fiction novels. I've written a short story, and I'm working on a Christian inspirational book. I love to read, and writing was something that someone had to see that light in me and bring it out. And I'm glad that they did, because I'm enjoying what I do. And thank you for everyone who is here, and I'm going to shoot it over to Erica.
Thank you, Ms. Janice. Good morning, everyone. My name is Erica Davis, and I am the author of Single Again, How to Live Life Satisfied Until. So if you are single, whether by choice or by force, that one question is the beginning of the best chapter of your life. So whether your goal is to marry, find companion, or to live your life single and satisfied, you can journey through Single Again, the experience, and prepare yourself for you until. You can find me on all social media platforms, and I will pass it along to Shakir.
Thank you, darling. My name is Shakir. Go ahead.
Give me a second, because I'm actually going to live stream. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's trying to live stream on Facebook.
Okay.
And it's preparing to live stream the webinar.
Gotcha.
And who went before us? You're going to do another 30 seconds towards the end. And it's live. All right. And you guys can share it from my page to your pages.
Fair enough. Good morning. My name is Shakir Rashaan. I corrupt minds one book at a time. The majority of my catalog covers the gambit between paranormal, erotic romance, excuse me, contemporary romance, and all things in between. You can find me on social media, anywhere and everywhere, but you can find me at home at ShakirRashaan.com. And I'll now turn this over to Marseille.
Glorious day, one and all. I am Marseille Scott. I'm national bestselling author, and I write the musings of life. I write contemporary fiction, women's fiction, and I'll be dabbling in urban fantasy paranormal in my next works. I book coach, and I'm a developmental editor as well. You can find me on all social media platforms, and you can also find me at www.marseillescott.com, and I'm going to toss it to Khadisha.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Khadisha Powell, and my debut novel, my debut memoir, Growing Up Joplin, will be released in June. And I talk about and share my experiences of being one of a few African-American in the town of Joplin, Missouri. I'm also currently working on a story for a high concept series, as well as a historical romance. And again, my name is Kadisha Powell, and you can find me on social media as such. And I'm going to kick it to Stephanie Freeman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie M. Freeman. According to my mother, that M stands for Michelle. To my fans, it stands for Murder, Mayhem, and Mysteries. I write whatever tickles my pen, whether it's murder mysteries, thrillers, paranormal. With a shot glass in one hand or a cup of coffee, I've been known to write an erotic tale or two. I look forward to the exchange today. I'll pass it off to Sol Saray.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sol Saray A. Fedida. The E stands for Esperanza. It's a name I proudly share with my mom. It means hope in Spanish. I write interracial and multicultural stories. My genre is steamy romance suspense novels, and I have 2 books out, Dreaming of You and Ongelofelijke Dromen. That's Dreaming of You in Dutch. I've also written a book that's under construction right now named Joey's Girl, and a few short stories for upcoming anthologies, and a full-length novel for a series. I'm gonna pass it over to Marie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marie McKenzie. My first book, Things That Keep Me Up at Night, my memoir, will be out in June. It charts my journey from childhood trauma through healing. I may be reached on all social media and my website, marielmckenzie.com. I pass it over back to JL.
I will give it to
JL, go ahead and intro because we're doing it a live stream.
Okay.
One more time.
My name is JL Campbell. I'm a national best-selling author who writes contemporary, paranormal, sweet romance, romantic suspense, and women's fiction. To date, I've published 38 novels. My characters are mainly Jamaican, and as I like to say, I am exploring Jamaica one story at a time. You may find me on social media at JL Campbell. My website is www.jlcampbell.com. I look forward to speaking and exchanging thoughts with you today.
And you're passing it to?
Dr. Vanessa Howard.
Dr. V, we can't hear you.
I hear you.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Howard. I'm affectionately known as Dr. V. I have a new book coming out this June called From Projects to PhD. In this story, you will learn how this cat used 9 lives and she is still yet standing. You can find me on all social media as Dr. Vanessa Howard or Dr. V. I'm passing it to Janice.
Thank you, Dr. V. I am Janice Allen. My debut novel was No Right Way to Do a Wrong Thing, and it's a women's fiction. It's where good people are making bad decisions, where bad people are making even worse decisions, and where everybody is seeing that when you move heaven and earth to get what you want, you have to be prepared for all hell to break loose. So I also have authored another novel, King of Lawndale. I have a short story, and I am soon to release a Christian inspirational book. And I can be found on all social media platforms, Janice M. Allen. And I'm going to give it to Erica.
Erica.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erica B. Davis, and I'm the author of Single Again, How to Live Life Satisfied Until. So if you are single, whether by choice or force, this one question is the beginning of the best chapter of your life. So whether your goal is to marry, find companion, or live your life single and satisfied, you can journey through the Single Again experience to prepare you for you. Until. I am also a contributor to an anthology, as well as looking forward to releasing Single Again in June. You can find me on all social media platforms. Again, my name is Erica Davis. You can also find me on BookBub, Goodreads, and at www.ericabdavis.com. And now I will pass it.
Was everyone covered that second time? Everyone's, okay, then.
I will pass it along to Naleighna Kai.
Indeed. Good morning, everyone. Grand Rising.
Good morning.
Namaste. I am USA Today and Essence Magazine national best-selling author Naleighna Kai. I am a literary agent who has landed book deals for clients with traditional publishing houses such as Simon & Schuster, Harlequin, and an imprint of Macmillan, Entangled. I also am a book whisperer, the person that you come to when you're thinking about writing and publishing a book, and I will actually help you to do the damn thing. I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and I'm the person who can help you tell it well. You can find me on Clubhouse. You can find me on Clubhouse. You can find me on Clubhouse, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm on Clubhouse an awful lot. That's an inside joke for everyone. But every day I'm there in the Law of Attraction room in the I Am Creator space, 9 o'clock every single day, but also too, every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Cavalcade of Authors group on Clubhouse, we have a 1-hour session where we talk about industry things, as well as we also have the A Tribe Called Success group. Additionally, we also have the Literary Cafe group on Clubhouse as well. So now we're going to be chatting it up for a little bit before Victoria Christopher Murray and ReShonda Tate Billingsley come on to join us. This is a spotlight today, this morning, on Simon & Schuster authors, but we have the Tribe intros first for the next 15 minutes. And then, like I said, ReShonda will be coming on, and then Victoria, and then J.L. Woodson, who is actually my son, my number one son. He was also published by Simon & Schuster, and then Shakir Rashaan, who is on the screen now, as well as myself. We were all published by Simon & Schuster, and we'll tell about our journeys. Additionally, we'll talk about Eric Jerome Dickey a little bit today. It is his memorial service that is happening today, and we want to keep his family and close friends there in light and love. Because he was a beloved scribe and brother in the pen, and he started a whole lot of people in the industry and inspired them, and he wrote such wonderful works. So we just want to make note of that as well. So now I would like to start throwing out, let's hit the baby tribe up. Erica, you knew I was coming for you. Give us about 30 seconds to a minute of what it's been like to be part of the tribe. And if there's any of the readers that are in the chat room, if you have questions for any of the tribe members, please drop the questions there and we'll be sure to ask them. So, Erica.
Thank you. Yes, my experience being a member of the tribe has been incredible. Just being exposed to so many amazing authors and editors and developers, and just the gifts and talents that exist are amazing. The humility has really helped to feel comfortable as a new baby to the tribe, really needing guidance and never once feeling like I couldn't count on someone to be supportive. The book coaching, just all of the amazing experiences, the connections that are made through this tribe have been just incredible. And so everyone brings something special to the table, and I have been embraced, and I can't say more about just how each individual tribe member has made a contribution to my experience as a new author, but also my experience as an author who is excited about what the future is going to be. So I appreciate Naleighna Kai and how she reached out. We reconnected on Clubhouse, and how everyone has just been an amazing contribution to this experience. So thank you all so much. And Ms. Naleighna Kai, is there anything else you want me to share?
Actually, someone has a question for you. Linda, Erica, how did you become a part of the tribe? Did you seek membership or did the tribe contact you?
A great question. So you just heard me say that I reconnected with Naleighna Kai during an experience on Clubhouse, and she happened to pitch in one of the rooms, letting us know what she was doing, who she was, etc. And I reached out to her. I sent an email saying, "Hey, I'm excited about what you've shared, and I'm interested." Ironically, and this is why I feel it's divine, I did not get a response via that email, but somehow we connected again through Instagram, and we had a conversation, and she said, "Hey, this is what we're doing. Join us if you're interested." And I have been rolling ever since that time. So it was, in my opinion, a divine way in which we connected. But I had the opportunity again to hear what she was doing in Clubhouse. And from there, I'm here. It's a great question. Thank you, Linda.
All right, so I'm going to throw another baby in the water. Kadisha, 30 seconds to a minute.
Yes, good morning, everyone. How I found the tribe was on my very first evening on Clubhouse. I'd been trying to get on Clubhouse for a few days, and I finally received an invite. The first room I went into was titled, "So You Want to Write a Book?" So I was like, yeah. So I popped in, and then I began the journey there. And that began in January. So from January until now, it's been an amazing journey. What Erica also didn't tell you, she's also my writing partner. We teamed up to write an anthology, and we're working on a series. So that relationship has been phenomenal. We tease everyone in the group because we're probably the shortest women in the group. I'm 4'11", she's 4'10", so we call ourselves the petite powerhouses. But it's been an amazing chemistry. The support has been amazing. I really feel that I can write and that my writing will be successful because I have accountability and I have people that truly, genuinely want us to succeed. So I'm just really blessed to be a part of the tribe, blessed to have just popped in Clubhouse at that moment, because I feel, I don't know, 10 minutes later, I would have missed an opportunity or a chance. And I don't know if I would have ever received it. So thank you so much. And again, really appreciate my journey and my time and my writing.
Yeah.
Indeed. And let's continue with the babies. Marie.
Good morning. How I found the tribe, it popped up in my feed one day in January. Naleighna Kai had listed her 30-day writing challenge. I hadn't thought of writing. I didn't know what I wanted to write. She set up a Zoom after I responded to her message on Facebook. And she laid it all out, what she was doing. I jumped on board and I have not been disappointed. Everyone in the tribe has been there to support each of us every step of the way. I have had tribe sisters who reached out to me privately when they recognized from my face in some of the Zooms that I am technologically challenged. So they reached out to me and offered me help, and I've been so appreciative. The editors, just the overall support is unbelievable. I don't think there's another tribe anywhere that's like Naleighna Kai's tribe, and she is just a phenomenal leader.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another one of our babies, Dr. V.
I met the book whisperer on Clubhouse, where she stays. I heard her 30-second pitch. I was mesmerized. I went on social media trying to find this lady because she spoke to my spirit. She helped me with the birthing process of a dream that I have been holding on to. And you see the back of it, from projects to PhD. She did a writing challenge and she paired me up with a coach, Shakir. And I was like, a man? You paired me up with a man? And then so in a nutshell, he knew my spirit too. She just talking to you, she's able to pick up your spirit and pair you up with the right person to push you along. Hey, Doc, what you doing? You didn't write today. What can I do to help you out? He pushed me, he primed me. And I really appreciate the camaraderie with this tribe. You will never meet or do anything like this again, because the tribe is here for you. In your weakness, the Bible says he'll give you your strength. In my weakness, the tribe has been my strength. So I'm so appreciative. It has been life-changing, especially during the pandemic, to meet somebody just whispering in your spirit and causing you to pull out the dreams and pull out the best self that you can be. I really appreciate being in the tribe and the coaching that I received and the editing from J.L. Campbell. It was in red ink. I had to get so used to red ink. I didn't know what to do, but that red ink taught me. It taught me how I was making particular errors. So it's all a process of learning, changing, and growing. So I'm Dr. V, and I'm finished.
Indeed, indeed. So let's talk about Stephanie is a kind of a newbie, Stephanie and Sosa Ray. So I'm going to go to Stephanie.
Well, it has been quite the experience. I mean, I've been writing for a long time, and this was the first that I met Naleighna back in, I believe it was May of last year. So we're coming up on a year, and becoming part of a group of people that love writing, that wrote books, and just love talking about the mechanics of writing. It was phenomenal. Oh gosh, I can't say enough. Each person has their own gifts, their own brand of humor, and just listening to the camaraderie in the group and how they each hold space for each other. Even on my darkest days, they held space for me. They introduced me to movies. I'll be the first to admit I've never seen Friday or Harlem Nights or quite a few things until I joined the tribe. But it has been an absolute joy. And each member of the tribe is a treasure. And yeah, so that's my spiel.
Indeed, indeed. Sosa Ray, all the way from Holland.
So I met Naleighna in 2018 and started following her and her work, and noticed that she was just like an octopus. She does everything on her own, as well as for her and the tribe, and that was something I was looking for. So I asked to join and was received with open arms by her and everyone in the tribe, and I've been a better person for it ever since. I love them all. So that's been my experience, to keep it short.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you, Sosa Ray. We're happy to have you here. We met when you did it was something that happened, and you were doing a release or a takeover.
Yes.
And people were just dropping out like flies, and you trusted me enough to turn your page over to me. And then you went to sleep because it was nighttime.
Yes.
There, and you never met me before.
No.
And trusted me enough and turned that page over to me. And that is absolute trust. And I think you woke up the next morning and your reviews were in, your sales were up and everything.
Yes.
So
I wanted to cry.
Yes, that was
a beautiful thing.
Indeed, and we enjoyed. Yes. Tribe showed up for you then.
Yes.
Cafe and so many authors that you didn't know. Yeah. And that's what it should be about. There's enough room for everyone. We should support each other that way, but we find in the industry, there's so many people who feel like, they can't be successful if somebody else is successful. There's not enough room for everyone to have. There's so much abundance. And if we come from an abundance viewpoint, then we don't mind sharing, and helping other people. So I'm going to slide it over to Janice, and then it'll be Marseille, JL, and then I think Sierra K has joined us as well. She was having a little bit of technical difficulties. So Janice, Marseille, Sierra, then JL. JL, when you slide it over to Shakir, you're going to bring in ReShonda, who is here. She's in the backyard right now. And looks like Sierra K, you're in the backyard. I could swear that almost looks like the other kind of trees, but I'm not going to, that's just me. Puff, puff, pass. The rotation. I'm just
420.
Okay, I'm Janice Allen, and the tribe is not the first time that I've been with Naleighna Kai in a group that she has led. And what I can say is that she at all times, her heart is in bringing out everything that is in you, things you may not even know that's in you, but bringing out everything that is in you. And each group that she has conceived and mothered, each group gets bigger, but also each group gets better because she is not she's not stagnant. So what she did in her first group, she learned some things, and she'll bring those things that work here, and the things that maybe didn't work, she learns a lesson from it and does something new. But she's always learning. She's always ahead of whatever is going on out there. So to be in a group with her, you grow, and but also you see everybody else grow. Like I see Marseille editing. I didn't know that was something she could do, wanted to do, but boom, she wears that hat and she wears it well. So Lisa will always bring out more in you than you thought you ever had in you. So the tribe is.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much, Marseille.
Being a part of tribe is being family more than anything that I could possibly ever say, and it's the family that you get to choose, and everyone, as everyone has already stated, that you get to hold space. I love that I get to grow here. I get to grow here, and honestly, some of it is not even because I want to. It's because someone says, I need you to do something for me. And then they say, hold on, stop the presses. You can do this. Okay, so here's a little more. Here's a little more. Here's a little more. And they help you mature in your craft. The bonds, I don't think I could ask for any other bonds they are family to me. And I appreciate every single person in here. I appreciate the leadership, the instruction that Naleighna Kai has to offer to give. And she's like my mama. My mama is gone. My natural birth mother is gone. And she became my mama after my mama left this earth. And she gets me right. And anytime I'm out of order. And I love it. And I love my sisters and my brothers here in this tribe, and it's a wonderful place to be in this writing world, in this whole world.
Oh, see, I'm not crying today. Y'all, we're not doing that. We are not doing that.
We're not doing that. Okay.
Not today. Sierra K.
I can tell you just immediately when I tried to get on and I was having computer issues, and I apologize to everyone for my tardiness. The first thing I got was a text from Marseille asking me if everything was okay. And that's what the tribe does for you. I mean, this is today, this is family. So they, immediately reached out, everything's going on. And I sent her a text, and apologizing because I was having technical issues. But the tribe is about taking care of each other, looking out for each other, and accountability. So, being able to know that somebody has your back, that you have resources to reach out to, and that you can, have open and honest conversations, because we all want each other to grow, and we all want each other to succeed. So we take the feedback that we get because we know that it's coming from a place of constant improvement, and a place of positivity, and a place of growth for everyone. So I am thankful for the tribe.
We're thankful that you're here. She's a sketch comedy artist. You got 30 seconds to tell us who you are, because we did our intros a little earlier. 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm Sierra K. I'm a sketch comedy writer and a suspense novelist. So if you like Criminal Minds, First 48, or half the shows on Oxygen Network, visit my website at sierrak.com, or follow me on social media at author Sierra K.
All right. JL, we're going to slide it up to you. And then Shakir, did that cover after JL? Did we cover everyone on screen?
I believe so.
Okay, so JL, and then we're gonna slide it to Shakir, and Shakir is going to bring in ReShonda Tate Billingsley, who is already in the house. And JL, take it away.
Living in Jamaica, I find that we don't have a lot of writers groups, if any. And so for me, it's always been connections through the internet. And I'm very happy to be a part of this family. Somehow Naleighna Kai found out that I edit, but I'd stopped doing that because I found it exhausting and people don't listen and that sort of thing. But she didn't hear that. She refused to hear that. And so here we are today. We're editing. And my writing has also grown because she is an excellent editor. She's an excellent, excellent editor. And so she has stretched me and I have grown and my writing has changed. And I so appreciate that. And I also appreciate all the connections. As it's been mentioned before, everybody brings something special to the table. And so whenever we're doing a project and you somehow fall out of the loop, there's always somebody to catch you up, always. And that's what family is all about. And so I am grateful and happy to be part of this tribe. Shakir.
Absolutely. Considering I am one of 2 men in the tribe at this moment, it's its own brand of fun as far as that is. I mean, I have a younger sister, so I know that dynamic as far as that is, and being around mostly women and that type of thing. So it's not a foreign concept to me, nor is it something that I'm uncomfortable with. But having these women around me has been its own journey in and of itself, because they've been my own cheerleaders in a lot of instances. I mean, where I've had my moments, and they know I've had my moments, so even though I don't broadcast them on social media, I'm very protective of doing that. But they've, in one form or fashion, have seen me have those self-coming to Jesus moments, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And they've been tremendously helpful in my journey as of recently. Naleighna and I have had our moments where we've butted heads. We still do to a certain degree, but that's Aquarian on Aquarian violence. That's nothing we can really do about that. The rest of y'all can just go on about your business and it's not that big. But at the end of the day, she has allowed me to still be me and still get her way at the same time. That is not easy to do. So I will definitely say that as far as that is. This particular tribe has probably been the most unique experience of my writing life. I've had my moments where I've tried to collaborate with different authors over the years and that type of thing. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works for a very short period of time and then it kind of falls apart. This has probably been the longest standing that I've been in my life as far as that is. So I am grateful to my sister for everything as far as how it's going.
I have to jump in. That is part of my growth as an author and as a tribe leader, I would say, is that it's not just me leading, it's me learning from you guys. I'm not training followers. I'm training future leaders. I need you guys to eventually have your own tribe. But also too, having a writing family. I mean, we support each other when people lose jobs, when people's computers go out, those kind of things. We come together with different things, not a prayer, support, affirmations, touching and agreeing. Tribe is what I envision that writing groups should be about. It isn't just about the money. It isn't just about what goes on the page, because if you have a happy life, you have a happy writing life. So it all encompasses that, and that's very important to me. So when I started the tribe, I learned from the first one, which was Macro Literary All-Stars, but learning how this family should work, you guys teach me. I've learned patience. I've learned understanding. I've had some of you all come to me, look, sis, XYZ, or, I know when I'm in trouble, because Shakir will say, let me tell you something, sis. And it starts that way. And I know I better sit up and listen. Or JL will send me something, you're doing too much. Or Erica sends me notes. Are you drinking your water? Stephanie, have you eaten? I'm not getting off the phone till you've eaten, because sometimes I'm so driven, I'll forget about self. And Tribe is that reflection of making sure I have self-care and that I'm not being out of balance. So that's very important. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Shakir. And I love you, Tribe. I love you. I can say that from the bottom and let's say the top of my heart. I don't know what's at the bottom. Let's say from the top of my heart, I love each and every one of you. So I am going to turn it back over to Shakir.
Absolutely. This woman, for me, needs no introduction. She has been an indirect mentor of mine as well. She may not know it, but she's gonna find out today. She's had TV, movies, collaborations with Victoria Christopher Murray, just everything that she's done throughout with regard to a lot of her writing journey. We'll definitely try to dig into all of that as best as we possibly can. Miss ReShonda Tate Billingsley, thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem whatsoever. Obviously, we want to try to get to the beginning and then try to speed through as best we can because I know you've got some things on the plate as of recently as well. So take us back to the beginning. How did you get started?
So I have always loved writing. I'm a journalist by trade. I was a television news anchor and reporter. And I went to college at the University of Texas at Austin. When I graduated, I went to work in the business and just over the years decided to finally stop talking about writing a book and write a book. And in 1999, I wrote my very first book, and it was, I was rejected left and right. I would get rejection letters in the mailbox every day, sometimes from places I hadn't even sent it. Talking about, don't send that thing to us. Because I sent it out so many places, but I believed in my story. And so I self-published, and then I'm an outside the box thinker and promoter. And so I set out to make a name for myself. And that ended up catching the attention of agents who then came back to me, some of whom who had rejected me and said they wanted to sign me on. And so I ended up getting an agent. I signed with Simon & Schuster, and here I am 53 books later.
Absolutely. What exactly, and any other tribe can jump in at any time, just to kind of help out with the questions and such, but what has it been like when it came to the point to where you made that turn to where things really took off for you as an author?
So it really was my second book. A lot of people think that my first book, Let the Church Say Amen, was my first book, but it was actually a book called My Brother's Keeper. And the reason that the second book, a lot of people think is the one that, because it's the one that put me on the map. It just really took off. I don't write Christian fiction. I was labeled though as a Christian fiction writer just simply because of the title. I am a Christian who writes fiction. But I don't want you to go coming in thinking, okay, I'm about to read this Christian fiction book, because I use a little choice language. My characters have sex because, Christians don't have sex. And so I like to write about reality. And that's really was the turning point, was people seeing this book, they get it, and it's controversial, but I write real world issues. And so the crackheads in my book don't say, pass the pipe, gosh darn it. So I write reality, and I think that resonated with people.
Definitely. Any of the others have questions for Miss Madam?
ReShonda, I like that you said that you are an out-of-the-box thinker, author, writer. Can you please describe what exactly you mean when you say out of the box?
So I'm a journalist, and I know promotion. I know people contacting us. We in the newsroom, we had a box of books. People used to send, especially before the digital age took off, people would send their book in this long press release. And what was going on in these newsrooms, they would take your book out, they would toss your book in this box of books that said free books, and they would throw the press kit away because we're getting 100 of them a day. And so I knew that I had to think outside the box. So initially when I started, I said, nobody knows who I am. I'm in Oklahoma City at the time. So I need to figure out how to spread the word about my book. So I would do things like call a bookstore in Las Vegas and say, hi, do you carry My Brother's Keeper by ReShonda Tate Billingsley? They say, no, we don't have it, never heard of it. I call back about 3 hours later. Hi, do you carry this book called My Brother's Keeper? They'd say, nope, we don't have it. No joke. I'd call back right around 5 o'clock and I'd say, I'm looking for this book called My Brother's Keeper. And they say, we don't have it, but we need to get it because everybody's calling about this book. And I did that in store after store, day after day. And my book caught a buzz. And so I would have people go out into the community and I'm going to friends and saying, hey, can you help spread the word about this book? And they'll say, girl, I ain't talked to you since the 3rd grade. I'm like, I know, but can you help me spread the word anyway? Right. And so it was just really a matter of, I didn't just, post about a book. We didn't have social media when I started, but I wasn't going to send an email and stop there. So outside the box is thinking of unconventional ways to promote. I was big on beauty shops. I did these little pamphlets and I would go and set them in beauty shops all over town. And what happens is you start reading it while you're under the dryer and it's only the first 2 chapters. Now you want to know what happens. So now you got to buy the book. So I was thinking about those type of things constantly in order to promote.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. I think I've got one from Anita. She said, ReShonda, you've done so much. What's actually next? Is there something that you want to accomplish, but you seem as you've been out of your grasp until now?
Yeah, so I'm always learning. So I'm consistently learning how to become a better writer. But what's next for me is producing movies. And so Victoria Christopher Murray and I are business partners, and we're moving into the realm of Brown Girls Entertainment. And we actually have gotten film deals for our authors, and we're producers on some of them. And so I really want to move over into that industry as well, in addition to writing.
Okay, good deal. In that vein, I do see that you're looking to be behind the scenes, but I do remember somewhere in there where I think you had a role in the Secret That She Kept, I believe.
I had a role in both of them. I
was about to say, I was wondering. I knew you had a role in at least one of them. I couldn't remember exactly.
I starred in both of. Okay, maybe I didn't star. Maybe I only had 6 lines, and maybe 4 of those lines got cut. But the 2 lines that were there, I killed them.
So what was that process like for you to be able to actually have, even if it was a bit part, in your own book?
So you know what? It was an amazing feeling to be there on the set, not only to be in it, but to the respect that they showed to the writer, the actors. These are well-known actors that are coming up to me saying, I hope I did your character justice. And that's a phenomenal feeling for me. I was on set the whole time. Regina King directed Let the Church Say Amen. Queen Latifah produced it. T.D. Jakes was executive producer. And I was involved from beginning to end, and you don't see that a lot. And so it was a wonderful experience, but it was even greater to then see your words come alive on the screen. Now, I did, when I was acting in it, I was, I've always wanted to act. That's my first love. And, after my first line, I delivered my first line, Regina King was like, cut. And she came over and sat down and whispered in my ear, okay, we're going to do that again. And I said, what, you didn't like that? You didn't think that was Angela Bassett? She said, girl, that wasn't Angela's cousin. So I had to go back to the drawing board because I'm a newscaster. So I was delivering my line like the 5 o'clock news. So after a few more takes, we got it together.
Gotcha. I think I've got something from Linda. She goes, ReShonda, I'm an author and I would like to know if you prefer self-publishing or do you prefer traditional? Do you find that one option has more advantage than the other?
Yeah, so in this day and age, I highly suggest self-publishing, independent publishing, simply because, people go with publishers and they think I'm about to have this massive budget behind me. I'm about to have this massive promotional machine. And unless you're like a huge J.K. Rowling's author, you're not getting all of that. And so I took my self-published mentality into mainstream publishing. At this point, you can do it all yourself. Everything is there. It just doesn't make sense to get your $1 from the mainstream publisher. And there aren't even bookstores for them to put your books in. Right. They have the shelf spaces carved out. I probably will take my last book and just go and do it mainstream. Do it self-published because what I make with them, I could make that in the first month if I did it myself.
Gotcha. Michelle asks, what do you wish you knew when you first started out as a writer?
So I wish that I had treated it as a business. I'm one of those people that will always say, I am not a business person. I'm a creative. But what we do is a business. And
Absolutely.
so what I would do in the beginning, I would sell some books, go buy some shoes. The numbers weren't adding up. And so I really had to change my frame of thinking and look at this as a business and continue to invest in my business. And so that's the number one thing. The number two thing is the guest book. So if you ask, authors like Brenda Jackson, I'm sure you all have talked to her before. And
we actually talked to her yesterday.
See, if you ask these authors like her and Kimberly Lawson-Robillard, what's the number one tool that has made them successful? They will attribute part of that to their mailing list. And in the beginning, I would go to a book signing. I may pull out my mailing list. I may not. Half the time I forgot it at home. I wish I could go back and get that mailing list and be diligent about it at every single book signing, because your mailing list can mean the difference between failing in this business and succeeding. Those are people that want to know what you're doing. And before audience, I've been before tens of thousands of people. And there's no reason I shouldn't have a mailing list that's, 1 million people, because I've been in front of all of these people, but I don't have Take My Mailing List. I'm diligent about it now, but I wasted 10 years not being diligent.
Gotcha. I guess I'll leave it to the floor for anyone else to ask.
Yes, I have a question. What advice would you give new writers, and how have you seen the industry change from when you began to right now?
So the industry has changed drastically. When I started, there was Borders. Borders was 33% of my book sales. So once Borders closed, my book sales plummeted. And so I would, we've seen that, and we've seen the influx of ebooks. I would highly suggest that you, like I said earlier, to go the independent route and look for outside of the box ways to promote. I think it's fabulous what you guys are doing with the Tribe, because that's an outside the box way to promote. So my advice would definitely be to find avenues like that, because you cannot no longer, one, if you write it, they will come. And two, you can't just write a book and rest on your laurels. A lot of people get fooled by Facebook. They think, okay, well, I got followers on Facebook. Let me post this on Facebook. I'm good. Because you had 10, 15 people come and say, oh, I love this book. So now you think, oh, I got a bestseller here. And of those 15 people that came, 3 of them actually bought the book, and that's being generous. So you really have to step beyond social media.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being with us this morning. Were like owning a publishing company and producing your own movies, were those goals that you had in the back of your mind when you first started, or did these goals kind of evolve as your writing career evolved?
Yes. So no, I never set out to do a publishing company. Victoria and I came up with the idea for it because we were at Simon & Schuster, and we were among the last Black authors standing. They didn't renew contracts for most of them. And it wasn't because we were the most talented, because there were 2 I just wanted to cry when Simon & Schuster didn't renew them, because they're so amazing. But the business was changing. And so what we wanted to do was start a publishing company to give those fan favorites and new writers the opportunity to have their voice heard. Now, there's a reason God doesn't give you insight into the future, because had we been able to look into the future and see all that is entailed, we probably would not have done it. It is a lot of work, and we automatically assumed that our audiences would go to the people we publish. And that is not the case at all. That was definitely an eye-opening experience for us. Authors have to build their own individual audience. Other authors can introduce you, but you have to get those writers yourself. And so that was a slap in the face for us, which made things kind of a difficult, but we're still here, we're still doing it. It's a lot of growing pains because it's just Victoria and I, and we have other jobs. And so it's a lot of work. Our hope is that it'll get to the point, especially now that we've moved into the movie realm, where we can just focus on that and then our own particular, because I still have 2 other jobs. I'm a newspaper editor and I work for a college. So, I'm doing all of these different jobs. But yeah, we didn't set out to do it. It was an evolution.
Good deal.
Well, you've answered one of the questions I had in terms of what you would say to maybe a writer who has been plodding along but has not been gaining any traction. But the other thing I wanted to know is whether there is any dream you had when you started that you have not yet accomplished, or if there's anything at all that you see that you've been thinking of. It's a big dream and you'd love to accomplish that in your career.
Yeah, I got to start a movie with Michael Ealy. I mean, I know that doesn't have anything to do with writing, but that's my dream.
Yeah, make it happen.
Hey, I'm claiming it. They told me I couldn't get my books done, and I got them done. So
can we touch and agree?
Speaking
right,
that part.
But yeah, so I'm always Victoria, she comes on after me and she'll talk a little bit about the difference in her publishing journeys. I've been there, we're really good friends. And so I'm witnessing her as with a white publisher and a white author. She's writing another book with a white author. And when we wrote together, it is night and day. And that is disheartening. It's bittersweet. I'm so glad she's able to make this journey, but it's bittersweet to see the difference in promotions that the publishing industry does. So if I had to say any dream in publishing, I would love to see the publishing industry give us the same type of respect, the same type of everything that they give to a white author. And we've seen this, they'll do that, and our books can be 10 times better. But because of the color of our skin, we're marginalized. And I really do hate that.
Absolutely agreed.
ReShonda. Oh, I'm sorry. I had a question. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Which one of my sisters want to go first?
Can I go?
Go ahead.
Oh, hi. So what do you think makes a good story?
So one that is not predictable. As a writer, I give a lot of thought to my first line and my last line of each chapter. Because one of the things I try to do is try to have you go, okay, one more chapter before I go to bed. I'm a one more chapter person. I want you reading and say, okay, I'm so tired. I got to be at work in 5 hours, but one more chapter. And I really do think about that. I give a lot of thought to that first line and that last line as I'm writing. So I don't like predictability. If you think the story is going left, then I want to go right. I also think what makes a good story is the motivation behind a character. There are no one person is all good or no one person is all bad. So I try to do the motivation and the layering of a character. So if I'm writing about a no good man that's, cheating on a woman left and right, I'm going to go one step further and give you the motivation. Maybe he grew up and that's what he saw his mom doing. I don't have him just wake up and decide to be a dog. There's motivation behind every one of my characters. And then what happens is readers are reading and they're like, well, yeah, I know he cheated on his wife, but, and so because you really do like them, that's why we loved Olivia Pope, even though she over here having an affair with a married man, being married, because we were invested in the characters. So I give a lot to character development and those layers.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Erica, go ahead.
Thanks, Shakir. Hi, Ms. ReShonda. I am Erica. My question has to do with maybe more of the process. So have you ever found yourself less than confident in your writing or putting out your works? And if so, what helped you get over that moment? And if not, what kept you grounded?
Every single time. I just finished my 54th book. Every single time I write the end, I go, okay, is this going to be the book they hate? Thankfully, I have not reached that point where anyone hates it, but I think that that's natural as a writer because we're constantly striving to be better, to give readers something they'll enjoy. And if every book you finish, you're like, that's the bomb, I'm done, then you know that we got a little problem there. And so I do think it's natural to just say, okay, let me question this. I'm wondering how this will go. And so I do that on every single book that I do. And how do I get over it? I know that I need to move on to the next one. And one of the things you can't do is continue second guessing. I can look up a book now, an old book, and then think of 15 different ways I could have rewritten that book. And so you really do have to have a cutoff time and then move on to the next book.
Thank you for that.
So at this point,
I saw Dr. V had a question.
Yeah, I think I saw Dr. V. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to know, with your supporters, do they follow you in any book that you do, or is there a particular genre that they flock to?
No, they invest in ReShonda Tate Billingsley. So one of the things that readers do is they click pre-order, they buy a book, and they have no idea what the book is about. And that's because I've been diligent in building my name and building a career. So what happens is they don't know what the book is about, but they know it's going to be good. So they can go ahead and press, pre-order, go ahead and order the book without even reading the synopsis. But in order to get to that point, you have to continuously deliver. And so even if it's a book that someone may not particularly care for, they can't say that ReShonda didn't give her all. They can't say that it was because of the craft of writing.
It's 11 o'clock.
Sorry,
all right,
that's my little thing that keeps me on time.
Not a worry. So before we let you go, ReShonda, what we're going to do is go ahead and get into the one gotta go. Basically, the way this works, of course, is that of the 4 options that you see in front of you, one gotta go. So which of these desserts gotta go?
Banana pudding, unless it's my grandma's.
See, I already hear somebody about ready to have a fit. So yeah, about that. I'll leave it to the rest of the tribe and go, which one gotta go, ladies?
For me, this is Kadisha. I cannot eat sweet potato pie. I'm a pumpkin pie gal all the way, cannot do sweet potato pie. So I know, Marseille. That's probably because I grew up in Joplin, Missouri, but I need pumpkin pie.
Here we go. It's starting. Yeah. All right, Marseille, I already know you. Go ahead.
For me, I love sweet potato pie, but banana pudding and apple pie, I don't do either one of those. Both of those can go, and I only eat my peach cobbler.
All right, Doc, what you say?
I would say apple pie.
Okay, Erica?
Yeah, that apple pie, that has to go for me. Apple pie is a done deal.
Y'all are killing me.
Karen.
Khadijah.
I already went. I can't do the sweet potato pie.
All right, so we'll roll through this at this point. I do see, I'm trying to make sure I got everybody. Anybody that hasn't said anything, go ahead, throw out.
That banana pudding has to go.
And apple pie.
No, apple pie.
Banana pudding.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and cut the graphic at this point. Oh, goodness. Let me see if I can get that squared up. Hold on a sec. All right, so ReShonda, I want to say thank you for stopping through with this. You can stick around with this as well. I know your partner is in house as well. So we will definitely, if you want to stick around on the spot, we can definitely keep you on as far as that is. And then that'll pretty much be that. Let's see. I'm trying to get Miss Matters' attention real quick. So
well, thank you for having me. I'll hang around a bit and see if she says anything important.
Fair enough. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't stand her. I can't stand her.
I was waiting on that. I was waiting on it.
I can't stand her. Just go to the business. She
can't stand me so much. Is my name on her screen?
Oh my God, how did that happen? Who did that?
I went in and hacked you last time I was there.
And this is what we do.
Her. ReShonda, change my name back.
I can't do that. I'm in Oklahoma now.
Well, they do that kind of stuff in Oklahoma.
What?
Oh my God.
I'm frozen. I can't hear you.
I am going to, you know what?
Oh my God. Y'all are killing me.
Next time I see you, when you get home, the locks on your door is going to be changed.
Look, I am not in the I ain't hear nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I am not a witness.
Change my name.
It's changed. I did it.
I did it.
Oh, well, it's changed. All right, bye-bye. Y'all have fun. I'm going to go back in the audience.
All right, well, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I can't stand her.
At any rate, since she has already stepped in through the door, as I know she normally does at this particular point, this woman, of course, obviously needs no introduction as well. Most have already seen or known. If you don't know, something's wrong with you. Miss Victoria Christopher Murray, I would say, especially considering you got a couple things that's already hot and running as we're speaking right now. I don't even know how to begin at this point, so we'll begin at the beginning. Tell us about your start in the industry. I know it spans quite a bit, but we'll start at the beginning and then we'll kind of fast forward real quick.
Okay. It's so interesting because I remember when I had one book and 3 fans, just my mama, my daddy, and my husband. That was it. Even my sisters were not in that number because they were suspect. You know, they were kind of like, really, you wrote a book? And it's amazing because that was in 1997. And here we are now, 30 plus books later. I stopped counting at 30. And I've been writing a book every year. There was only one year where I didn't have a new book. And I've written at least one book every year since the year 2000.
See that yeah, definitely need to be like you when I grow up. What, I guess, where was your turning point with regard to how things kind of started from those particular beginnings to where it just kind of had that, I guess, that turning point moment for you in your career?
That's a good question. There were 2 turning points for me because we all say we want to write. We all do say it. And every year things get in the way and life gets in the way. And my first turning point came when I'd been married for 16 years and my husband said, you keep saying you're going to write. And he said, one day you're going to be 80 years old and you were going to be sitting on somebody's porch, rocking in somebody's rocking chair, and you were going to be so sorry that you didn't do it. And that scared me. And that pushed because before that time, I had a great resistance to writing. I had a desire to write, but my resistance to writing was higher.
So exactly, how do you mean by that as far as what you're explaining with the resistance?
Okay, because I wanted to write my whole life since I was a little girl, but there was a resistance. Life got in the way. You know, I was married, I had a daughter, but I think it was fear too. And there was always a reason not to go after my dream. Always an excuse. It was good excuses, but always it was still an excuse. And so my resistance was higher than my desire. And my husband put fear in me that moved my desire higher than the resistance. Okay, and that's for anything you want to do in your life. There's only 2 things. If you have a desire, there is going to be resistance. There's going to be something that's going to stop you. Usually it's the devil because he doesn't want you walking in your gifts. But you will be stopped and you have to fight through the resistance. And it was fear that got me through the first resistance. But to be honest with you, every single book I write, there is resistance. I'm always afraid that this is going to be the book where people are going to say, Victoria really needs to go get a job now. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, your partner said that too.
everything in me, I'm thinking with the last book, oh my God, people are gonna say it's not as good as the last one, so it's over. Her career, she's had enough books. I have a new book coming out in June. I think I'm excited until I'm not. Until I start thinking about, oh, they're gonna say, really? Why did she write this one? She needs to go get a job now. So the resistance is always there. I think it is part of what is put inside of us as creative people. Mm-hmm. I think it's a way to keep our feet on the ground. And what I mean by that is that when this next book comes out, I'm going to be sitting there biting my nails. And so if I thought it was all that, when somebody said, oh, the book was good, then I would be saying, yeah, of course you thought it was good. But if I get one person to say this book is good, I'm gonna be like, thank you, Jesus, because I have such fear that this is going to be the book that's going to say, everybody's gonna say she needs to go get a job.
Absolutely, understood. I will leave to the floor for any questions that any of the other tribe members want to bring out.
I do. I have a question. Because you've written so many books, is there ever a time when you're kind of wondering, okay, can I come up with something with a unique storyline and not only because you've written so many, but because, now just there's so many out there, period. Do you ever struggle with that, or you just it's just there for you?
Yeah, two answers. That's a good question. There's two answers to that. I took a class. I used to take a lot of writing classes, and because of Eric Jerome Dickey, he was the one that pushed me, made sure that I did that. And I, in one of my writing classes at the University of Iowa, one of the professors said that there's really only 6 story ideas out there. Mm-hmm. He said there's really only 6, and we all write them very different ways. And one of the exercises I do when I haven't been able to teach writing classes recently, but when I do, is I show a picture, and I use the same picture all the time, of just a shed. Right. And I have everybody in the class write the first chapter to that story. It doesn't look anything the same. So I never worry about coming up with something fresh or anything, because the second way for me to answer that is I believe with everything in me that what I do is a gift from God. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. And God would never give me an incomplete gift. So he wouldn't give me a gift, but then not give me the story ideas, or he wouldn't give me the gift and not give me the discipline, or he wouldn't give me the gift and not give me anybody to sell it to. And so I never worry about it. But this is a funny story. My first NAACP Image Award was with my first novel. And it was about a woman who slept with her best friend's husband, if you had to just sum it up in one thing. And then 10 years later, my second nomination with the NAACP Image Awards was with a book called Never Say Never. And it was about a woman who slept with her best friend's husband. And I didn't even realize that the stories were the same, because that's not what it was about. Do you know what I mean? The themes were different, characters were different. I didn't even realize it was the same. So I don't think you need to worry about that, because if you were to rewrite any of your books 10 years later, they would be totally different.
Agreed, definitely. There was a question from Sosa Ray before she had to leave us. Unfortunately, she asked, what was the most difficult scene for you to write?
Oh, that's a really good question, but really easy for me to answer. I wrote a book called Stand Your Ground, and it was about a white man that kills an unarmed Black boy. And there were a couple of scenes in there, but a true story. I was rereading the scene where the mother sees her son's body for the first time. And I was working I was writing and editing in Starbucks. And I was just sitting there, just reading and editing and crying. And a woman came over to me and she's like, are you okay? Can I get you anything? And I was like, oh no, it's just my book. And she backed away slowly, because she's like, okay, this woman thinks she's writing a book and she's crying over a book that she's writing. Almost all of Stand Your Ground was hard for me to write. Even though I wrote it from the Black mother's perspective and the white wife of the shooter, almost all of it was hard. It was gut-wrenching. I bled on those pages.
Yeah, considering the topic and then everything that was going on at that time, I can hardly blame you when it comes to that.
Yeah.
The next question we have from Anita Wade asks, do you plan to teach any more classes?
Yeah, I was teaching at least one a year. Got kind of busy last year and this year. So I hope to, but I don't see it in the near future. I have 2 or 3 books like right now that I have to write. I'm working with a white writer. That's the book that's coming out in.
Yeah, ReShonda mentioned that.
The personal librarian, and we just got a new contract to write another book together.
Oh wow,
so,
nice.
Yeah. So, and I have to finish the 7 Deadly Sins, even though I'm so over them. I have.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because we'll get to that in a minute.
I'm so over them, but there's even more pressure now to finish. I have to finish that, and then I'd like to get to stories I have in me that I have no room or time for. So I can't see teaching writing, even though when I was teaching those writing workshops, that was my love. That was, I love teaching writing.
Absolutely.
I think Anita was in one of my classes too, so that
and that might be why she's asking that question, but yeah, definitely. Speaking of, yes.
I'm sorry, we have a comment from one of our participants. Yeah, Shannon Harper. Miss Victoria, Shannon says, I'm really excited for the personal librarian. So we have folks that are already excited and waiting.
So I'm hoping, because Shannon's she's like a serious reader. That's like if you look up reader in the library, that would be Shannon. Like if you were to make a meme, it would be Shannon. So like I'm really nervous because she's gonna be the one that goes, oops, Victoria needs to go get a job.
And then Victoria, I had a question too about collaboration. So what's kind of been your experience from maybe collaborating with Black authors to the now collaborating with a white author? Are you finding maybe that there's things that we have to that you've got to focus on, like maybe stereotypes of characters, cultural differences? What's kind of been your experience kind of coming out of the comfort zone, excuse me?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think I hit the Guinness World Book Records of lottery in having 2 writing partners who are both amazing in their ways. And ReShonda and Heather, she writes under Marie Benedict, but Heather are so alike. In so many ways. Their strengths in writing is my weakness, and my strength is their weakness. But there are differences. ReShonda and I are sisters. We are sisters down to our mothers thought that each other were their daughters. I was sure ReShonda was my mother's daughter, and I think I'm her mother's daughter. We are really sisters, and that grew out of our collaborations and our business things and things like that. Heather and I had a very interesting experience because we were writing about race. This book idea was hers, and she knew she could not write this book without a Black person. So she began reading books by Black authors, and she read Stand Your Ground. And she called her agent and said, that's the author I want. And so then I had to agree to do the book. And we're writing about this woman who helped J.P. Morgan become J.P. Morgan. He would not be J.P. Morgan without Belle DaCosta Green. Wow. True life story, but we fictionalized it. She built his whole library, built his whole manuscript collection, and no one knew. And she became one of the most powerful women in New York in the 1900s, early 1900s. No one knew until she died that she was Black. And not only that, she was the daughter of Richard T. Greener, who was the first Black man to graduate from Harvard. But he was an activist, a civil rights activist. And when the Civil Rights Act of 1875 got overturned, he wanted to fight. And his wife, who had been in a fight with him, said, it's never going to be separate but equal. Look at our skin, let's be white. He went one way, they went another, Belle was 16 at the time. Nothing about her life has been out there, and we fictionalized her story from there.
Wow.
Of what it must have been like to, because if she had been caught by J.P. Morgan, the most powerful man in America at the time, can you imagine? Because he would have felt like he was bamboozled. Can you imagine what would have happened to her and her family?
I imagine.
So Heather and I had to write that book on race. And then we had to edit that book last summer. So we were in the middle of a pandemic. So now we saw each other every day on Zoom, and we watched a man get lynched on TV together. We had to talk about that together. We had to watch a white woman accuse a Black man of nothing in Central Park together. And so all of our daily talks ended up in the book. Do you know what I mean? Because we're talking about race, and so it is different because she is white, but the biggest difference comes from the way the publishing industry treats me. I have written 30 books where I've worked my butt off, and publishing has I didn't know. I thought I was being treated well. I now see how I'm treated standing next to the white girl. And it's a bittersweet experience, because you can ask ReShonda, very sweet. I'm very happy. I didn't even know they had that much money in publishing. I didn't even know they could push you like that in publishing. Very bitter, because I look at them sometimes on those Zoom meetings, and I want to say to them, even though it's not my publisher, it's a different publisher, I want to say to them, you don't do anything like this for Black people at all.
True.
At all. And as much as we thought that they weren't doing enough for us, what they're doing for me now is 100 times what I could have imagined.
Wow.
I'm talking about they have my Facebook login, so they can go in and they pay for the ads. So they don't even ask me, they just log in, and then I'm talking about they go into my constant contact list, clean it up, put in banners, add names.
Wow.
I'm talking about all of the money that they're putting behind it, the tour that we're getting, the people that they've never done anything like this to me. I'm talking about I was paid 10 times more with this book than I was paid for my personal last book. It's just freaking crazy and unacceptable.
Whoa.
Goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break on that.
I say that among my tribe.
I get you, and that's perfectly fine.
I do want a chance. I've got to figure it out. I do want an opportunity to talk about this in front of everybody. What I am seeing is unacceptable. I'm acceptable now because I'm standing next to a white girl? Come on now. I've worked hard my whole life. She's happy to have me.
No, absolutely. I absolutely agree.
I'm sorry. Let me get down.
No worries. This is what we do.
That question. Now I need some wine.
This is what we do.
Okay. Well, I just want to add a comment that we got from Shannon, because she is still excited about this book. She's saying, y'all going to try to tell me that book won't be great, and the description is so intriguing. So,
I think it's good. I think, if I had to rate my top books of which books I like out of all the 30, Stand Your Ground and The Personal Librarian would be tied for first place.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Then, next, some of my favorites would be The Dealer Dancing the Devil, Lust, Wrath. I really like Wrath. But Personal Librarian, I'm so proud of that book, because there came a point where the editor wasn't sure about the book. She sent it to my agent to look at. My agent edited it, tore it up, and then gave it back to me and said, Victoria, by yourself, work on this, fix it. The book's good. I just don't know how people are going to take it. You know what I mean? So then I don't know if people are going to read a historical fiction book and say, Victoria, you need to go get a job. But I thought that about Wrath, and I thought that about Greed. I really thought that about Greed. I thought y'all were really going to tell me, go get a job.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna try.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm thinking that your collaboration with this white author, it's not accident, it's by design, divine design. Because the story that you're telling, it needed a bigger platform than you had, although your platform is huge, but it needed that platform and God found a way to do it. So yes, I believe that's it. That is divine design.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't want to poo-poo the blessing at all. So
I
like
understand.
I said, it was bittersweet, and there is so much sweet in this.
Yes.
Because so many people think I'm a New York Times bestselling author. I'm not, but I will be with this book because they're making it one.
Yes. Awesome.
So there's so much sweet with it. So I don't want you to just hear the bitter. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want you, there's so much sweet. But they do treat us differently. And that makes me very sad.
And with that being said, we have a comment from Sheila Bell. It says, wow, this is hard to hear, Victoria. I'm happy for you, but dang, this is sad and ridiculous how we are treated unfairly in all areas of our lives and careers. And I can't say that.
And Sheila's so right, because it's not, one of the things as I was, every night I call ReShonda, and one of the things I say is, this is no different than all the rest of you, everything you're suffering from in corporate America, it's no different. We just thought it was a little different.
Well, now the question becomes, and that's the question that actually pops up from Linda. She asked, does the experience that you have with regard to the personal librarian, does it make you want to work more with white co-authors, or does it sour you from it?
And neither one, because it's not the author's fault.
Right.
So Marie came to me with a great idea, and I respect her on a couple of different levels. She has been this is what she does. She writes historical fiction about real people that existed, but she fictionalizes their life. So that's what she does. So she had come across this Black woman years ago, and she decided that she couldn't write it alone. She decided that as a white woman, she wouldn't be able to tell the story of a Black person passing. She wouldn't be able to do justice to it. And I give her credit for that, because so many times they tell our stories like they were there. So I give her a lot of credit for it. And as I said, we just signed a second book contract to do another book. So it's not, I love working with her. It's different because we're friends. ReShonda and I are sisters, but I love working with her. It is still a little different because ReShonda and I are totally equals, and we know it. With Heather, she wants us to be equals, but there's a little bit of, when your skin is a different color, it's just natural.
Yeah, agreed. Lucille
Piper Hughley, she's saying that you're doing a wonderful work and can do more if you like. So she's giving you a lot of shout out and love in the chat.
Oh, tell Piper I said thank you.
Absolutely. The question that Lucille asked is there anything that we can do as authors or readers in the publishing world to force more diversity opportunity?
Yeah, that's a good question, because last summer, when it took watching a Black man get lynched on television for even publishing to say, wow, Black Lives Matter, we need to do something. And so they say they're going to open up their doors and they're looking for more diverse authors and things like that. I think as authors, what we could do is we need to start seeking out those opportunities, but seeking out those opportunities with our best work. Because you only get one chance to make a first impression. And so I do think editors are looking to diversify their portfolios or their body of work, even with one. That's diversification with them. And so as authors, we need to put forth our best work and keep networking and trying to find those opportunities. For example, I don't remember this agent's name, but a friend of mine said, and you authors know how it is. All your friends, when they know you're an author, if they have a friend of a sister of the janitor, they're telling them to call you. And this woman called me because an agent on Twitter was saying she was looking for more Black African-American authors after the whole George Floyd thing happened. And so the woman reached out to me and I looked over her work and she submitted it and the agent took her. So people on Twitter, agents even on Twitter, were looking for more diverse authors. So authors, our authors, we need to stand up with our best work. And readers, even if you don't have a chance to read the book at the moment you buy it, you must get it when it first comes out. No matter who published that book, one of the things I can't fault publishing on is that it's a numbers game. And white authors sell more books than Black authors. So which comes first? Are the readers there and they're just not buying the books? Or do the readers not know about it? And if you put some money behind us so that they can find out about it, we'd sell more. And so we need readers who are in this game to do two things, well, one or two things, but to buy the book as soon as it comes out. If you can, gift the book to other people. That's the difference between Black readers and white readers. We will take a book and read it once and give it to our girlfriends because we're a tribunal community. We share everything. So we will raise somebody else's kids. Of course, we'll share a book. They will go out and buy 5 books and give them out. And that's where they get their numbers from. Agreed. So if we can start modeling that behavior a little bit, reviews really do make a difference. I know people don't know that, but it changes the algorithms on Amazon and Goodreads. So reviews really, really help. And the third way is until they put money behind us, word of mouth is the most important thing that we have.
There is a question from Sheila E. Bell. She says, Victoria, kudos to you for your book to film. I loved Envy and Lust. Can't wait to see the other stories in the series.
Oh, thank you. I like Lust better than Envy, but most people like Envy better.
Well, I'm all for Lust. I'm just saying.
Lust was so good, but that was because of Tank.
Oh, but I'm so glad that you're, given the opportunity to turn books to film. There's authors dream of that, and you are living that dream. And I'm just, just so proud of you. And I'm seeing it all on Facebook, and your readers are advertising it, and they're also talking about it, and they're co-signing on the people that were chosen for the actor. Did you have anything to do with the choosing of the people who were going to portray your characters?
No, not at all. The casting director was Fern Champion. She's a woman who's been in the industry. Her first movie was Saturday Night Fever. That was her first movie when she did. I know, right? And so, but I think she nailed it. In Lust, those 3 people, I am embarrassed to say that I didn't know Kerry Hilson. But the chemistry she had with Tank was off the chain.
Wow.
Agreed.
So well done. So they're going to do the whole set. They're not going to just stop at those. They're going to do the whole.
They were waiting to see the ratings, and the ratings were great.
Good.
I'm so happy for you.
Can I ask what I asked your sister and the business partner? Is there any dream that you have? Is there anything you haven't done yet that you want to do?
I want to win a Pulitzer Prize. I'm not kidding. Everybody's so excited about the books to film, and I do not poo-poo that blessing. Trust me. But that wasn't a dream of mine. I really am a writer. You know what I mean? I love to write. So I would like to win a Pulitzer. I would like, but I don't have no book in me that's going to win a Pulitzer. But that would
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah.
So
something like that. I would like the accolades for the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So let's see here. We have from Phyllis Dixon. Should a Black author even bother seeking a white agent since it's a numbers game? Miss Billingsley said she thinks independent publishing is the way to go now.
Yeah, I think you should not wait for somebody else to validate your work. So just get out there and make things happen, and all other kinds of things will happen. I've always, well, my very first agent that I didn't stay with very long was African-American, but in the major part of my career, I've only had 2 agents, both white, both pushed me, both amazing. So it's not a question of, and I've only had, out of all the editors I've had, or the people who have acquired me as editors, I've only had 1 African-American. All the rest have been white.
Whoa. Has there ever been that time you got something back and you say they just didn't get it?
All the time. Like one time I said in one of my books, I said that the character had gone to Hampton University. And she wrote back, do you mean Hampshire? Hampshire University. I've never heard of Hampton. I wrote back, I went to Hampton. I ain't never heard of Hampshire. Right. And so I find myself writing things like that at least once. Oh, here's a funny one. One time I said, I called a guy, I said he was stupid fine. So y'all know what that means, right? He was stupid fine. It's very clear to you, right? So, oops, I'm gonna have to just finish this quickly. I'm doing Eric Jerome Dickey's and they just said they're waiting for me. So she changed it to super fine. I said, nope, it's stupid fine. I am so sorry. I'm doing Eric's memorial today. So I've got to go, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessing to him and his family. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You can find her online, find Victoria online at www.victoriachristophermurray.com. She's on all social media, Instagram, BookBub, Goodreads. She has an Amazon author page as well. You can make sure that you check out all of her books. She also is the co-founder of Brown Girls Books with ReShonda Tate Billingsley. They published my book, Open Door Marriage. And it was a very wonderful experience and put me back on the map. Every Woman Needs a Wife put me on the map, but they helped to put me back on the map after having a little lull for a few years. So and I'm just going to give us a few seconds each. I'm going to put this on the screen because I think this is very important that we share a little bit about Eric Jerome Dickey. I'm going to give everybody a chance to tell what their favorite book is from him. And if you haven't read him yet, that's fine. You can pass it. So mine is A Wicked Woman. I thought that was, oh God, he did not pull any punches on that one. He did not pull any punch. A Wanted Woman. I'm sorry, not A Wicked Woman. She was wicked though. A Wanted Woman. And it was amazing. You know, sometimes authors take you up to the bad part and then they kind of pull punches. He didn't. He dragged you through it. It was tough, but it was so good. And it was like a train wreck. You know it's coming and you don't want to turn away. So I'm going to toss it to Shakir. Give us about 30 seconds really briefly of, or 15, your favorite.
Man, I don't even need that. Okay. Anybody knows Gideon, knows Gideon, knows Gideon. That's it. It's that series. That 5-book series is everything. Everything from Sleeping with Strangers all the way to Finding Gideon. That is a 10-year ride that I was absolutely enthralled with. It is the reason I jumped into romantic suspense my damn self, because that man right there was every bit as close to Bond as I wanted it to be. He didn't have to be Bond, but he was so gutted it wasn't even funny. And for him to have the type of beginnings that he had, the type of things that he had to deal with, the complicated relationships, both familial and otherwise, it was just, that was it, period, point blank.
Indeed. Anyone else want to share their favorite book from him? And then we're going to move on to our next guest, Janice. Unmute.
Yes, I loved One Night because it amazed me how he could take a whole novel and write about just like a 24-hour period or 18-hour period, but it was so complex, and it just blew my mind that he was able to do that. So I liked that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to share their favorite from him? Okay, so we're going to move on because we have our next guest in the house who was also published. People forget that. He was published by Simon and Schuster as well. I am talking about the one, the only, #1 son and our resident graphic design pro. JL Woodson is in the house. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, #1 son, you can unmute and all
Good
right.
morning.
Oh, he gonna be all humble. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. It was a long night last night, up designing covers, but yeah.
Such is life, and as your mother, I have the right for your entire life, right, to do this very thing.
Oh, it's already on wood.
Okay, hold on. The embarrassing childhood pictures.
Aww.
Oh, I'm just saying, look, who could not love this little face right here? Oh my God.
These aren't embarrassing. The embarrassing one was the one like from first grade when basically we were late for school and Sandy basically combed my hair where it like stood straight up and slapped a whole bunch of Vaseline on my face. And it was picture day.
Do I have that picture? I gotta find that one.
You probably have one left because I definitely took some of them up.
Wait a minute, you tore up my pictures?
I hated that picture, Mom.
Yeah, that's just, see, now I'm 100 down. Those are my memories. So here's him when he was 3 years old, all the way when the one at the bottom left with the black shirt, that's when he first began his career, his first book, The Things I Could Tell You. And then the one on the right-hand side, he was was nominated for an NAACP Image Award for his book Superwoman's Child that was published by Simon and Schuster. And then upper right with the glasses and that little imprint on, that was when he was graduating from Columbia College. And I love that picture of him. And then the one in the middle is him now. And I think he's wearing that shirt today. That's your favorite shirt.
No, that one is like, this is a polo. That one is a different one.
So you just got a love for those prints, right? I'm just saying. So he also has a new book out. This Knight of Irondale is part of the Knights of the Castle series. And so this is a little collage, I would say, of his life. He's also in Bearing It All, the ins and outs of publishing. He's in that one, but he is also, like we said, for Simon and Schuster. Zane had him as part of the Breaking the Cycle anthology. And I'd like for you to tell the people, JL, a little bit about you and how you got started in writing.
Okay, so first thing, basically when I was in high school, we had to do an English assignment. Like my first book, The Things I Could Tell You, which is somewhere there on my screen. And basically it was an English assignment. So my teacher wanted us to write a short story that was like very scary. And, like everybody else wanted to do, like they wanted us to read Edgar Allan Poe and all that other stuff that I'm like, like it's kind of outdated, even though it's good literature, but it's outdated for me. And it's not something that will scare me because I'm like, who's literally going to lock me up in like some sort of or brick me up in some sort of catacomb. But the scary thing that I thought of among other ideas was, having to protect one parent from another. And, being a kid or even just a teenager, that's pretty scary, especially when you think that you are supposed to have a family that loves each other. And then like you wouldn't have to harm somebody else to protect somebody else. So that short story, apparently it was written very well. I never really boost myself up or or anything like that. But when my teacher read it, he called my mom, and I believe it was another school official, where they thought the story was real, like all this stuff, the domestic violence stuff was really happening at home. And it wasn't, because like, of course, my father didn't live with us or anything like that. And even still, he couldn't hurt a fly. But it was, I guess it was that story that really sparked it, especially like my mom really pushed the envelope where, you know, like I need to keep going with that story, where that story can keep going forward and expand on it and stuff like that. And me, I'm just like, okay, I'll do it. So that's basically how that started. And it was the writing portion was pretty great. I will never say that the editing portion is my best friend, because as you guys know, it's always a lot of back and forth and a lot of red ink. But and then from there, like basically that book got me a scholarship to Fisk University, which in my eyes was a blessing in disguise, because of the fact, like, you know, growing up, I didn't necessarily have the grades to have a scholarship for that school. And they gave me a scholarship based on that book and based on that merit. So it did open a lot of doors for me. My high school basically came to my book signing, and all of my friends and family, they were really just, you know, very supportive. And we had a wonderful book signing at Borders, which I wish was still around.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And so basically from there, I went to Fisk, and then actually before that, I was approached by Zane. My mom did a lot of my agent work and stuff like that, and communicating for me, because of course I couldn't do it. But basically I was included in the anthology, Breaking the Cycle. And it was one of those stories that I deeply felt, because even though I never experienced anything like that, like an out-of-body experience or near-death experience, I actually cried writing that story, because it's like you can actually see how that could happen to somebody. Like being a child, like stuck in between the whole situation of domestic violence, and then being the person that is the person that's most affected and is on his deathbed and stuff, and speaking with a person who is a spirit like, and had basically died from the same situation. And so like I wrote that in like a couple of days, and it, like, I literally, what was that, one day?
No, it was one day. It was one night, because they didn't give you the right deadline. And you came home from work and found out the deadline was the next day. And I just told you to tell Zane, I was like, you know what, maybe you want to make a pass on this process, because you had to write, I think 5,000 words that night and turn it in like the very next morning. And you were tired coming in from work, and you was like, no, I'm going to do this. And you sat there and you punched out that story. I was ever so proud of you. Oh my God. I was like, you did that. You were born for writing. I know graphic design is your jam, but when you put pen to paper, still then, it gave you opportunities and it opened doors. But your writing, I love to hear from Shakir. I love to hear from you, because the Black male voice isn't as prominent in the literary industry as the female voices. You know, Black women are writing and telling our truths all over the place, but you don't see as many Black males. So your voice is very, very important. So we've got a few questions for you, Mr. Woodson. Marseille, you see a question that we need to pose? You had a question that you wanted to pose.
Considering what your mom just said, as far as your gift for writing, where do you see your how do you envision your writing career?
That is a good question. Basically, I will say a lot of my writing career, like why I haven't, like outside of Night in Irondale, like why I haven't come out with like even a personal book or individual story is mostly because of like how I am in my head about writing and everything like that. Like I can't write like I'm 16 years old anymore. Like I can't write from a teenager's point of view. Everything is, definitely elevated right now. But I think I do have a couple of stories within me. I just need to get out of my head and actually write it, because like, just like everybody else, like people think like just because I've been published and even published by Simon & Schuster and Zane, like that, oh, he has it all figured out. I'm like, no, man, I'm in my head because I am my worst critic.
Right.
I am definitely that person who like, okay, this doesn't sound right. Like I think way too far in the future, where like I'm like, okay, if I write about this, people are definitely going to probably give me the 1-star review on Amazon or something like that, and it's not even the case. So I think if I would like to actually come or break out those stories that I do have, because I mean they are somewhat written down, or at least the ideas of them are written down. I just need to get out of my head and just do it.
Yes, I agree. Get out of your head and just do it. Thank you. I actually learned a lot of my writing style from him. I was writing long before my son, and he is very succinct in his writing. Where I was doing 10-page chapters and he ended up doing 3 to 5. And those 3 to 5 pages were like really powerful. So I started shortening. Well, I used to do 10 to 15-page chapters. I started shortening my chapters because I saw how he was able to start with a hook and end with a hook. And also, he called it the red line method. If you're writing and you pick up the book, Bearing It All, the ins and outs of publishing, he created the red line method, which is based on the train line that is here in Chicago. We have the red line, the green line, the pink line, all of these different lines. And the red line that used to take us from the south side to downtown, it was from 95th Street, then it was 87th and 79th, 63rd, 47th, all the way 55th, all the way downtown. So when he tried to describe writing to someone, and I thought it was really powerful, is that the 4 of us, and we can be like, it's me, him, Janice, and Shakir all on the same train, but we don't all see the same things. One person might see the candy man walking through and the battery man walking through selling some things. One person is looking out the window, and when they hit to 87th Street, we're looking at the McDonald's or the construction place or the music place. And then the other person is looking out the other side of the window and they're seeing jewels and all the other stuff on that side. We all envision and see different things. But I was like, Tate, that's brilliant. So he wrote it out in Bearing It All, the ins and outs of publishing, that we even may take the journey from 95th to Dan Ryan to downtown, but all of us aren't going to make it to the end of the line. Some people are going to get off at 47th. Some people are going to get off at 55th. And when I'm just telling you, it's a powerful retelling of how he plotted out and put his book together. So he looks at it as train tracks. 3 major things that lead up to the next station, and 3 train tracks that lead away from the station, and then 3 new train tracks that lead up to the next station. He had it all figured out. I'm like, this was 15, 16. I'm like, so I learned a lot of my writing style from my son, because he didn't have in his mind's eye of writing this big, long book. No, like get from the action to the action. So there's some questions from the tribe. Go ahead.
There's a lot of questions in the inbox, but this is coming from Donna. And she said, how did you get into cover design, and do you prefer it over writing?
Okay, so I got into cover design. Like I went to school for graphic design at Columbia College, and then graduated with my BA. And then my mom needed her cover design for which one was that, Mom?
Open Door Marriage.
Open Door Marriage. And it was my first time tackling the cover, because like the thing about it is everybody thinks that because you are a graphic designer that you automatically know how to design for covers. And that's not the case, because you have to learn how to design for that. Like, just like you have to learn to design for movie posters or a particular different subset of graphic design. Graphic design is one big umbrella that is something that people need to pay attention to whenever they are like trying to get into their niche. But I will say, yeah, like I do enjoy cover design a lot more than I do writing because it's a short and simpler process. Well, not necessarily simpler. Writing for me sometimes could take up to a year. And if I take up to a year for anybody's cover, they'll be mad. But basically, I love cover design because it somewhat it tells the story wrapped up in like one single visual image. I like giving the people the aha moment, honestly, because like there are tons of things happening in the story that you just pick out one thing that is happening or something that is very symbolic to what the story is. And next thing you know, they go back, like they read a portion of the story that is within that cover. And like, oh man, I didn't realize that. And I mean, basically in a way that my job is done.
Indeed. Do we have another question from the reader, a tribe member? Just put your hand up and we'll call on you. Okay, Marie.
Dale,
Hmm?
who or what has been the greatest influence on your career and why?
And who asked that question? Who asked that question?
Marie, me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was from a reader. It's like,
that's my question.
You said the greatest what now?
Who or what has been the greatest influence on your career and why?
When it comes to writing, my mom. I do have a couple of others, but my mom is pretty much my go-to when it comes to that because she's basically pushed me along. And then even just her work ethic when it comes to writing, it's a little bit, I'm like, I wish I could be that. But I would say as far as graphic design, I have one of my mentors is Dominique Jones. She works for Penguin Random House. Like she is very inspirational because of the fact like she is an amazing cover designer. And then she's a Black woman in publishing, on that side of publishing. And then she just came out with another book cover design that is basically being put out there like crazy, and it's an amazing cover. But I would say just the fact that she's willing to share her ideas with people who are freelancers like me, that like it makes you want to give back to the person that's behind you. So
and let me show you all before another question. Let's see some of these fantastic cover designs of yours. Can everyone see that? The Kings of the Castle. This is from the tribe. This series has been amazing, but it's the cover designs that actually got the attention of Entangled, the acquisitions editor, the co-founder of Entangled, and she loved the branding and everything that you did. J.L. Woodson designed all of these covers, and let's see another set of something that he's pulled together. Let's do this right here. Bam. The Knights of the Castle series. Yes. Look at you all trying to be all humble and whatnot. I love these cover designs. They're so powerful and purposeful and just amazing. So that's just a few of his cover designs. So we have more questions from the readers. Okay, Sierra K and then Dr. V.
Okay, this question is from Linda. JL, I love your mom's work, and now I will pick up your books as well. Do you believe the creative and writing gene was passed down from your mom?
I mean, I would have to say, yeah. Like, granted, like I believe my mom has much more of an imagination than I do. At least it is within terms of writing. But as far as like being creative and stuff like that, I would have to say yeah, because like honestly, I don't know where else I would get it from besides God.
Oh, shucks. Okay. Okay, Dr. V.
Catherine Roberts, she wants to know what was one of your most surprising things that you learned when creating your books?
That I could actually write. Because I mean, okay, one thing about me is like I never take a lot of stuff as people's words sometimes. Like even sometimes I have a hard time believing when like somebody like, oh, you can really write. I'm like, oh, thank you. I guess. So I mean, I'm sure it's like a confidence thing, but at the same time, like, you know, I'm not that person who is like an egotistical person where I'm like, I believe I'm like over anybody, or like I'm always pushing my information on somebody because I'm better than them. But I would say, yeah, definitely writing was something that I didn't know that I could do until like I actually did it. And then even still, I'm like, okay, you know, I just wrote a story. I just wrote how I felt. So if that's great writing, then that's great writing.
JL,
Hmm?
I have to say, when I taught middle school, your book, The Things I Could Tell You,
Mhm.
that was a book that got one of my students who was absolutely adamant she hated reading. Hated reading. Would not read one book that I handed her until I picked up that book. And The Child of Superwoman, Superwoman's Child. She read through both of those in a class time and could not put them down. And she said, "Does he have any more books?" I said, "I'm sorry to say, these are it." She said, "Tell him I'm mad. I want more books like this." So I'm going to say that whatever you're feeling as far as, yeah, okay, maybe I can write. Someone who hated reading, you got them to read. You are the reason why someone loves to read.
Indeed.
Tell us a
Exactly.
little bit about your creative process, because you are the only graphic artist I know who would read the book of someone whose cover he's designing, and you put a lot of thought into it. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so for me, like one thing I pride myself on is like giving my best foot forward. And if that's reading the book, like of course you can't understand the book without reading it. And sometimes like the author may not have the book ready. So I will have to settle for a synopsis or a small portion of it. But I think my process has definitely changed over the years. Like, of course, 2009, I was more so along the lines like, okay, you send me a picture, I'll do whatever you say. Now, I can't necessarily, in good conscience, just do that anymore because of the fact I would love for the author to succeed, especially if my name is going to be on the back of the cover or even on the inside of the cover that says cover designed by J.L. Woodson. I'm not going to put anything out there that looks like it was halfway done. I just can't do that. Of course, there have been some times where I had to basically battle aesthetics with an author, and it wasn't fun, but at the same time, I at least got my words out. Wherever they took with it, they just did with it. But my process involves understanding the author, which is why I'd have these Zoom calls and everything like that. It's understanding the story because of course you can't design without understanding where this story is going or what symbolism it has within it. And then from there, I go straight to either looking at pictures or looking at references. But I learned that now having these Zoom calls, like having open communication, like where the author can spit some ideas back at me, I can spit some ideas at them, show them some images and things of that sort. And it's a pretty seamless, like it leaves very little room for error. So after that, like I go to work, I start looking at more cover images, anything that I could pull from it especially after I read the story. And then, I mean, we come up with a pretty decent product, book cover and everything like that. And I'm not that person who's big up and say that we get it right every single time. There are book covers that I've designed before, like early on, where I'm like, okay, this is not something that I would necessarily put out. But because of the fact that the author really, really wants this cover out there with this on it, I'm gonna have to just be quiet and just let them have it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I've been one of those people, and I realize when it doesn't work, he'll say, I'm not gonna argue with you, Mom, about aesthetics. And then I know I need to take another peek. And there's been times I've had him to do a cover design one way, and then I had to go back to him for him to do it his way. I think there's only been one time that I missed, but there's been several times that has happened. And I've learned more to trust his eye on things. Queens of the Castle is one of them. I had it one way. I wanted it one way. And then he did it the way I asked him to. And then I sent it to the tribe, and the tribe was like, yeah, but I think I like the way. So I had to have him go back. And I started, when I'm talking to him, I said, don't kill me. And he said, it's not going to make it hurt any less. Because I'm going to tell him, I need you to take it back the way that I asked you, that you said to do it. And he doesn't say, I told you so, but I could feel the I told you so. I'm just saying. So there is that. Do we have a question from, wait a minute, we're going to do this. I think Karen Bradley sent this one for you, Jeremy. Well, that's his real name, y'all. So one got to go.
Well, Iron Man already left.
You serious?
Okay.
Man, throw this whole thing away.
Okay.
I don't like this question, but
throw this whole thing away.
Because of the fact Iron Man has already passed on.
Okay, so let's choose another one. Let's choose another one.
Ooh, throw that all away.
But that's a good question. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, okay, so let's do another one instead. Let's do this one. Getting rid of Blue-Eyed Soul. Tina Marie, Robin Thicke, John B, or who is that? George Michaels. Who's got to go?
I have to get rid of John B because I only know one of his songs.
John B was the bomb. I'm just saying.
Yeah, John B got to go if you change. Well, I don't know. It's between him and Robin Thicke.
Robin Thicke, yeah,
Robin Thicke, definitely Robin Thicke.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's definitely that.
Anybody else chiming in? What are the
Robin Thicke had good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Robin was cool, but I mean, he's really not much better than John B in the sense. I'm like, there's a few top hits, but if you look at his whole discography, that's enough.
But John B only had, like, from what I remember, he only had one song.
No,
he actually had about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Sierra K, who's got to go?
I was given John B has to go.
Okay, Marseille.
Robin Thicke.
J.L. Campbell.
John B, because I don't even know who he is. So I live under a rock.
What are the readers saying? What are the readers saying?
Oh no, I haven't had a chance.
They're saying John B too.
Oh my God, Erica.
John B has got to go.
Oh man, he gets such a bad rap. That was just.
I'm not saying he's not good, but when I compare him to the other three, he's just last on my list.
Let me tell you, we went to the Black Women's Expo, which is why we're doing the Cavalcade this weekend, because we would have been at the Black Women's Expo in Chicago during the Literary Cafe. And I said we still needed to do something in April. Well, I was there and Tina Marie was a performer there, and I end up sitting on the couch next to her in the lobby in the hotel. She was a little pint-sized something.
Yeah, she's not tall. No.
She was like, wow, it was just amazing, just so warm. She had a little hood in her too, I'm just gonna say that. But wait, just a little bit of hood. So when they came and asked her, they said, okay, we're gonna take you for some salads and stuff. She's like, salad? I want some steak. I was like, wow, she was so amazing. So amazing.
Amanda McCoy does kind of have a point. John B did run, so Robin Thicke could walk. But come on.
Oh, Amanda McCoy said.
But don't forget that Robin Thicke's dad was on TV too and had to connect because what was that show? Kirk Cameron and all them? That was jam. He loved Papa Thicke. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it was his mom. I think Robin Thicke's mom was in the music industry.
Mm-hmm. But his dad, I think, wrote that song, the intro to his show. So his dad has a musical background as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not like that.
Okay, one last one before we get back into the Jeremy. One gotta go. J.L. Woodson, one gotta go. Hardcovers, paperbacks, ebooks, and audiobooks. Which one gotta go?
Oh wow.
Your face.
I would have to say maybe audiobooks. No, ebooks.
What?
I like listening to a story. I'm sorry. Jeremy Irons can read The Alchemist to me anytime.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Like, I'm sorry. I listened to The Alchemist, the audiobook while reading the paperback.
Whoa.
Felt like he was telling like a bedtime story or something like that. I'm like,
oh, that's crazy.
Like it's something when you hear, like, now don't get me wrong, there are certain books where I'm like, yeah, it should just not be an audiobook because the person who is reading it is just terrible. But I mean, ebooks, even though I have a Kindle, I don't really read from it. Like I prefer a hardcover book for keepsakes and a paperback for reading.
Oh, okay. Sierra?
I'm gonna go with hardcovers only because I have way more paperbacks than hardcovers. And if I'm buying a hardcover, it's because it's leather bound or, you know, it's a little bit extra. So I'm gonna go with hardcovers.
Kadisha?
I would definitely say hardcovers as well. One, they're expensive and not easy to travel with and pack. You know, I think my last two hardcovers I got was Barack's book and Michelle's book, but I was kind of up at cringing a little bit in Costco, like, you know, this is like 8 paperbacks and like 10 ebooks. So I would definitely say hardcovers.
I think the hardcover is really like I look at hardcovers like a special edition or a first edition. That's how I view it. Like I will buy the hardcover, especially from an author that I do like, only as a special edition that I won't read. And keep the paperback.
Okay, Stephanie?
Oh gosh, it's hard because I have a massive library in my house and it's filled with hardcovers and paperbacks, and I have a Kindle. Oh gosh. I guess paperbacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Erica, what are the readers saying, y'all?
They're saying hardcover.
Yeah. I love hardcover though.
Readers, what
love
say
there's
you?
something about them.
Oh, Erica, go ahead.
No, I love hardcover books. I do think for all the reasons that everyone said but there's something about having a hardcover book that just makes me really feel like I'm in reading mode. But yeah, I'm that would be, I guess, the one that I would let go of all of the options.
Okay. JL Campbell?
Tar and feather me, but for me it would be audiobooks because I do not have the mental capacity to sit and listen to a story, and if I don't multitask very well except at work, and so I will start out and after 10 seconds I don't remember what the narrator is saying. So audiobooks can always go, or they put me to sleep.
Yeah, I'm on that train.
Marie?
Looks like a lot of audiobook folks people are getting rid of audiobooks.
It's the audiobooks for me because actually between me, you, and the wiretap. Go ahead, Jay.
Question is, okay, I remember this question was posed like a long time ago in like one of my groups. Is audiobooks considered reading?
Yes.
I mean,
that's a good point.
That is one of those. That's one of those perspectives of you got to figure out whether or not you're actually quote unquote reading or are you being read to. That's technically what it is at that point. Because I mean, anybody can be read to, but that don't make them a reader.
Right.
Somebody's reading. Somebody's reading.
Audiobooks are just considered oral listening. So it's an oral listening skill.
I mean, think about it. When you were younger and your parents were reading the book to you, were you reading the book? You were listening to the story. You know what the story is about, but you didn't read the book per se. So being read to does not equate to you reading the book.
No, and when they read to you, they wanted you to take a turn. They did not take a turn. Take a turn listening. They would hand you the book and tell you to read.
No, that's a good point. That's a
great point.
That's a whole other thing at that point. I mean, yes, you're taking turns in that particular situation because they're kind of teaching you on that particular. But if you're being read to, you're not really reading unless you're concentrating on what's being read to you, and then you kind of get a general idea of what the book is about. But it's going to be difficult if you go and do it from an audio perspective, go into a book club and try to explain the book.
So I changed my answer.
Oh,
I get to keep my hard copy book.
And mine is the audiobook has to go.
So I understand, you know, I understand
okay,
people who
Marie said
swear,
audiobook.
yeah, I
gotta
understand
go.
people who say that, you know, audiobook is still reading, but that's from a certain you're operating from a perspective of convenience. It's the same thing with ebooks. People don't want ebooks because they're like, I want to be able to pull off the shelf as opposed to I'm just picking up my phone.
But I wouldn't say it's from a place of convenience, because for some people that technology is the only thing enabling them to consume that material.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, your question, Shakir, is an interesting one. And it's one of those questions that it's like politics, discussing politics and religion, because I've seen fiery conversations in book clubs about the fact that, you know, team audio and team paperback and team Kindle and so on. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make that call in terms of, you know, what constitutes reading, so to speak. You know, I don't begrudge anybody that listens to an audiobook to get the gist of the story, so to speak. But when you get into those formats where they go, well, on page such and such, where this particular step happened and blah, 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 you know, some of these book clubs get real intimate when it comes to the storyline. And it's very difficult for those who either don't have the ability to, or maybe just don't have the time.
Yeah.
It puts them at a disadvantage. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
I think the main thing as far as like audiobooks, like the helpful portion of, like I can see it from an accessibility point.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, yeah, like especially if you know, you have a issue where somebody they can hear the book, but they can't like actually, like, you know, they may not know Braille yet or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So
we have a
huh?
Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
Oh, but yeah, like I can see that from an accessibility point where like it could definitely be so in that point I'm like, I can't get rid of audio. Like it's hard to get rid of any of these formats or anything, but I think definitely when it comes to like accessibility, audiobooks definitely take a good portion of
We have a comment. We have a comment from Trish Phillips who says, team audio all day, every day. My schedule doesn't allow me time to hold a book. And there are a lot of people with disabilities who are blind and other reading disabilities. So
that's the reason why I can't begrudge anybody that decides that they need to use that medium. It's necessary. It's a necessary evil. Sometimes it just gets to a point, sometimes where it's like you have to kind of adjust your paradigm when it comes to, even when it comes to your ability to discuss a book with someone.
And Letitia is saying that I have a friend that's blind.
So. Get that. So here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this to all tribe members listening and in the audience. When I give you guys a reading assignment, y'all better read that in print. Love y'all, because y'all not writing audiobooks, y'all writing books. I'm just saying, assignments are to be read on physical books. I'm just saying. So Marie, you said audiobooks gotta go. Dr. V, what did you say?
Well, I need the audiobooks. I love the spine of a book. So the hard copy and the trade books work good for me. I like to bend them. I like to touch them. The ebook, I'm with Jeremy, JL, ebook gotta go, because that medium sometimes don't work for me. I like to annotate. I like to underline. I like to know.
You can do that in ebooks.
You can highlight in your Kindle.
I'm technology low. Technology literate.
Illiterate. First than me.
Got it.
So I'm the old.
There you have it.
I like this. I like to be able to, because I'll remember it. If I do it like this, I'll remember it. But to have a computer do it for me, then I got to figure out what page is it on. I have my Post-it notes.
Wait. You highlight in fiction books, or you mean your textbook stuff?
I highlight in whatever book I read. I leave myself notes, questions that I have, because it's mine.
I highlight in.
Can't be mad at that. Cannot be mad at that. It makes it difficult for her to give it away to somebody. Tell you that.
I don't.
I highlight in the book if it's something that really catches me, you know, it's a catchy phrase, it's something that's deep or something I never thought about. I highlight it because it captured it just captured something in me, and I want to memorialize, you know, it somehow. And so Lisa once said she's a book snob, S-N-O-B, and I'm a book slob, S-L-O-B, because I want to, you know, if I really like something, I can't necessarily call every author up and tell them, but I can write it in my book, you know, this is put a star or underline or something.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So Stephanie makes a good point. Stephanie Freeman. She says storytelling began in voice. Think of the griots. Entire civilizations are passed down.
I get that, but that was before we started burning trees.
Yep. That is true. That is true. And we know if we look at the Bible, they needed a better editor. No, just joking.
Right. Agreed.
I'm just saying. And people forgot things. You know, if it's in print, you know, I'm just saying, you know, you can't, what do you call it? Can't have fake news if you know, somebody edit. But anyway, I'm just saying. So suppose somebody was hard of hearing. You remember the grapevine game when we were little, you pass it to one end. By the time it gets all the way to the other end,
it's a whole other story by the time it's all said and done.
Oh, Tony Bonita said, from the retired librarian in the house, use sticky notes, please. I'm just saying, because I'm cringing. Y'all saying you're highlighting in the book. It's not textbook. I just can't see that. It's just like, wow.
Look,
so,
I can't be bad.
We are going to pass it back over to JL. JL, tell us where we can stay connected with you and how people can get in contact with you to do book covers and all of that.
Well, let's see. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I somewhat am on Twitter. At JL Woodson. Yeah, I rarely post to Twitter unless I'm like in the mood or just the spirit moves me or something like that. Oh, hold on.
All right, technical difficulty.
That's a no good.
No, it cuts off after 30 minutes. So yeah. It's a DSLR camera, Mom.
Oh.
But basically, yeah, you can catch me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at JL Woodson. My website is WoodsonCreativeStudio.com. I am on behance.net/JL Woodson. That is also where I do my live streams for book cover design. If you want to reach out to me for book cover designs, I am at JL Woodson at WoodsonStudio.com, or you can just drop me a line via my website.
Also, could you drop your SocioTap link in the chat for us, please? And we thank you so much for being here with us today, because we know you actually got to go back to work and everything, but I'm so glad to have had this time with you, because we don't get to spend a lot of time with you. And that.
Whose fault is that,
huh?
Mama? Whose fault is that, Mama?
You know what? Why you want to bring up old stuff?
No, somebody be on Clubhouse all the time, so when I call, it goes straight to voicemail.
Ooh, look at that.
You know what? I'm just like,
it was coming. It was coming.
That's just, you know what? Get off my screen.
You over here being a social butterfly. I'm like, okay, I gotta schedule an appointment to speak to my mom just to check on her. You know, it is what it is. You know.
Did you see Gail Diamond's comment? She said, "Oh no, he didn't."
But he did.
Oh, man, sure.
That's just, oh my God, that's just, man. But I just hit 10,000 followers on Clubhouse. Thank you very much. And and this surprise person, they held a party for me and everything, a 10,000K party and all of this stuff. But we're making new some of the people in the reader slot, they are from Clubhouse. Thank you very much. So I brought all the readers to the yard. I'm just saying. Yes, I am a Clubhouse addict a little bit. I am addicted to Clubhouse. I love it. And but you don't have to make an appointment to speak to your mom. I'm just saying. But here's the thing.
You need a consultation to speak to her.
But you know what's interesting is my son brought me to social media kicking and screaming. Left up to me, I would have still been on MySpace. And he says, no, Mom, you got to get on Facebook. Because remember, Facebook at first was just for college students or people who had a college email address. And then it was Facebook. Then it was Twitter. Then it was Instagram. Then it was Snapchat. Then it's TikTok. Then it's Clubhouse. And he's brought me to almost every platform kicking and screaming. I have not done TikTok. I have not done Snapchat. But when Clubhouse came, I got excited because everybody was starting from ground zero. But I didn't realize that being on Clubhouse, when I started on December 31st, I was at 1,970 followers on Instagram. Now I'm at 6,500 in just a couple of months that I've been on, few months that I've been on Clubhouse. My Instagram following has gone up. So it's been beneficial. And actually, between me, you, and the lamppost, I have surpassed Mr. Woodson in followers. So I'm just saying. So Mama's getting her social media on. Thank you very much.
What does that have to do with me scheduling an appointment to speak with you?
See, why you bring up old stuff? Why do you want to bring up old stuff? Thank you so much for being here with us today. We are going to, and on that note, whoo, look at the time. We are going to transfer over to our brother in the pen. JL, feel free to hang out with us, but I also know you have to work. So if you need to slide out at any time, you can just, or listen to the background. You can do either one. Shakir Rashaan, our brother in the pen, the only other male tribe member that we have. There's JL Woodson, not JL Campbell. JL Woodson and Shakir Rashaan are both the only male tribe members that we have. And it's been an interesting ride. So we're going to shift over to our brother in the pen. Take it away, Shakir. Tell us what you're working with.
Well, I will, the journey has been its own twist and turn, so to speak. I actually started as an indie. My first book, The Awakening, although you see the red cover, as far as the current iteration is concerned, I actually started off with a black cover that signified the darkness within, with regard to that particular series. That was circa 2009. From there, it was putting the second book in the Nubian Underworld series out. And by then, Zane had actually put out an all call for a series of erotic stories that became Chocolate Flavor 3. It was actually part of her Chocolate Flavor series. I put in 2011 when I was in the midst of writing my series. And it took about a year for her to get back to everybody that would eventually be involved in that project. And I think from there, everything just rolled at that point. I wasn't even in for 2 years as far as an indie was concerned before she picked me up. We actually signed the contract late 2012, even before Chocolate Flavor came out. And The Awakening came out December 13th. From there, it's been one crazy ride after another. I've had different anthologies that I've been a part of. I've had different individual projects that I've written as an indie more so than I have as a traditional publish. I actually have 2 separate series with Simon & Schuster. My Nubian Underworld series, the first 3 books in that series, as well as the first 3 books in this series that originally was called Deviant Intent, but it's now called the Kink PI series. So there's a lot of history in that. A lot of the books that I was able to carry over from my indie side, I was actually able to parlay into book deals, which really was rare because a lot of traditionals don't do books that are already out or that have already been published. So for Zane to actually pick up my entire series after the first book was really produced already was a rarity, and I'm grateful to her for that. As far as how that kind of pushed out at that point. From there, it's been fun is the only way I can put it. It has its challenges, obviously, because of distribution and visibility and all that other good stuff, but I wouldn't trade the last 12 years for anything.
Awesome. Do we have some questions coming in? Any of the tribe members? Now, Shakir is on the hot seat, so you can ask.
That's not always a good thing.
So Marseille and then Sierra K. That rhymed. Marseille, Sierra K.
That's some house music on.
Hey, Chicago, I'm a house head. All right, Erica. Yes. Okay.
Shakir, why did you start writing?
I actually, and Stephanie's gonna love this, especially considering her griot reference. I actually started telling stories from a verbal perspective. I actually did oral storytelling when I was actually about 5, 6 years old. I had conversations with my grandfather, where he would, I literally would talk his ear off on a daily basis during the summers when I was there with him. And he got tired of me talking in terms of just telling just outlandish stories and all the other good stuff and whatnot. So he literally made me sit down and read a series of different books. The actual first book that I read that I had to I had to tell from an oral perspective was Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby. And he literally sat me down, made me read that book for like 2-3 days straight, and then made me sit in front of him and tell the story from my perspective with my spin with regard to that story, with regard to that book. From there, it just kind of cranked out from there. I would write different short stories in elementary school, and then eventually in high school. High school is when it really took off, because I had an English teacher that saw some of my shorts and went, okay, so we need to put this out somewhere, because wait a minute. And I give her all the credit on the planet for putting me on the path that I'm on today. Even though life got in the way for a few years and that type of thing, and then I finally picked it up for real. As far as the mid 2000s, before we actually put out The Awakening. That's really where it was at that point, but it's just fun, to say the least. Just from being that young to where I am now, that 40-year span is, it's something that's going to be fun for me to tell my grandkids one day.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so considering, you do have that 40-year span that you referenced, what is a lesson that you learned that's just impactful that you kind of take with you day by day as you continue your journey?
I stay true to me. There's a quote that carries with me every day. If you write for yourself, excuse me, let me make sure I got the quote correctly. If you write for the public, you lose yourself. That's the other half of that quote. Write for self, there will be a public eventually. But if you write for the public, you'll eventually lose yourself. So it's literally me stating, stay true to the path that I put myself on, regardless of where that path leads me. Because if I start trying to chase trends, if I start trying to follow the money, so to speak, eventually after a while, this becomes work instead of fun.
Right.
Okay.
Shakir, I have a question from our sister Sol Saray.
Absolutely.
She asks, do you hear from your readers much? And if so, what are some of the things, what kind of things do they say?
Woo! Time.
Yeah, I was gonna say this a PG series segment, so to speak. Okay, so let me give you the PG-13 answer. The PG-13 answer is literally that they have been very influenced by a lot of my series with regard to how it brought them to the different worlds that they didn't even realize existed. So it's helped them to understand that we do what they do, so to speak. There have been, there's a lot of it that I will admit haven't necessarily been the most positive, but I just kind of take it with a grain of salt and I keep it moving. But they get in touch with me in one way or another, positive or negative. They have been accessible to me in various formats for a good part of a decade at that point. But yeah, it's a mixed bag, but I enjoy it regardless.
Thank you.
Shakir, if you were to give some advice to a new author, like you did me, he's my coach, what advice would that be?
honestly, it's the same thing that I tell myself every day. Just stay true to your own path, whatever that looks like. The addendum to that is know the business. You got to know the business side of it. It's because the last thing you want to get caught up in, especially when you get into the point where you start dealing with publisher contracts and different things along those lines, you want to have the ability to understand. Not necessarily that you need to be expert about it or anything along those lines. You just need to have some sort of an elementary understanding of what you're about to get yourself into. You know, I didn't learn that when I was younger and I dealt with Simon & Schuster. Simon & Schuster, the contract with Simon & Schuster actually I would have to have someone that is expert in legal matters when it comes to contract law just to get out of that contract, because that contract actually literally states that my grandchildren would still have to fight for my publishing rights, because that's how long the contract is. It is 70 years after I die.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. I didn't know that was the first major contract that I signed, and I didn't realize that either. But at some point, you can fight to get your rights back. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on what, because I mean, even now that Simon & Schuster has been acquired by Penguin, the rules change a little bit. So there's a little wiggle room there. I just got to find the right legal representation to find that loophole now, so that I can go on and get that back.
And you let me know so I can get my rights back, and
I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working
rights back, because we're both published by Simon & Schuster as well. And it would be nice, because the thing about it is, I think they've already made their money. And
yes, very much.
They've made what they could from it at this point. We're talking since 2006. I think getting our rights back and letting us do something with it. And I definitely want to get Every Woman Needs a Wife back, because there's about 2 chapters I would trim out, particularly because they're triggering. And I didn't understand about triggers and putting them on the page at the time that I put Every Woman Needs a Wife out. And there's some particular things that I was concerned about telling my truth and sharing my truth, and not taking into consideration the impact on the reader. And it was my son at one point that said, sometimes you bring the readers down so low they can't get back up again. So that would be something I would definitely trim out, are the details of what happens to the 2 different women, because I was trying to show how it was particular Black woman, white woman. It was still something that happened to both women. But I did it in such details. I cringe now when somebody says, oh, that was my favorite book. And I'm like, it was the one that put me on the map. But I definitely would do things differently. And it took, growing and learning from that. So yes, I'm going to pass it back over to Dr. V, because she is running point for this one. And Janice, we have people that have questions.
Yeah.
Who did you send a question to?
Yep. Well, I got one. I got one from Gail Diamond, and it said, Shakir, do you see yourself writing a book on what's happening in social justice?
That's not my lane. I'm not gonna try and push myself into an area that I am not necessarily that I'm not comfortable in. I could literally, if I decide I want to put myself in that space, as far as Shakir doing it, that's not going to happen. I would have to either put that under my legal name, or I would have to create a different pen name altogether at that particular point, because the things that my opinions, my perspective on it, especially being a son of law enforcement, it's not the ideal for me anyway, as far as that is. I leave my commentary to my blog if I really want to put it on that particular front, but to actually put it in published print, not likely.
When you talked about the impact of your grandfather, if you had to share one of your books with your grandfather, which one would it be and why?
My grandfather would have I won't say he would have a fit over what I've written, so to speak, but at the same time, probably the one that he would probably have bragged to hearing back from would probably be The Devil's All American. The reason why that one would probably be the one that he would probably have bragged about the most, is because it combines my love for basketball, for starters, and then it's also a retelling of a classic Faust tale. as far as being able to give him a redemption arc that no one saw coming, and to give the twist and to give the emotional component. He would have literally been bragging that from here to Kingdom Come, I promise you.
Here.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay, go ahead, Marseille. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Linda says, Shakir, OMG, you're making signing with publishers sound frightening and very uneven.
Let's be real. The entertainment industry as a whole is cutthroat.
Right.
Period. Full stop. Let's not play games here. Whether it's the music industry, whether it's the movie industry, whether it's the literary industry, you don't know what you're doing, you might as well bend over.
I promise you, up until probably last month or so, I didn't quite equate the literary industry. I didn't put it under the umbrella of the entertainment industry.
We are entertainers. We are entertainers. Right. Our medium is literal print. It is print media. Right. Point blank, simple and plain. We are no different than journalists and all of the other, in all of the other mediums with regard to that. But it is a cutthroat industry, period. They do not care about you. You better advocate for yourself. If you don't, you can forget it.
Mm.
Wow.
Another question?
Question. Do you like doing collaborations? Would you do, not necessarily in a series, but just you and someone in a book? Do you like doing that?
I really haven't had the opportunity to really collaborate in terms of doing something along those lines. I don't foresee having a problem with it. It's just a matter of being able to get a vibe with someone and figure out exactly what their style is. I did start one with my other agent in Tice, but our paths kind of frayed a little bit as far as that was. But she gave me permission to actually run with the story. And the actual story is what is the cover that you see behind me as far as Lust and Beautiful Liars. That originally was supposed to be a collaborative effort between me and her, but she ended up going in an agent track and was starting to really take off when it came to the documentaries and the movies that she was starting to create. So it just turned into, instead of it turning into a collaborative effort, it turned into a solo project.
Okay, I just want to add, Gail Diamond says, thank you, Shakir, for your truth.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Look, I would have been appreciative of people telling me what I had to learn the hard way.
Indeed.
So Shakir, when you are writing your stories, what are some of your inspirations? Because you have a lot of genres that you write. Is it real life? Is it your creativity? Is it the drink that you drink? Cigar you smoke? What gives you the inspiration to write?
It depends. I am the quintessential people watcher. Before the pandemic hit, you will find me at any mall somewhere in this daggone city of mine in Atlanta, and literally sitting down somewhere with a pen and a paper and just looking around. And it does not matter who it was. It didn't matter what the environment was. I would find a couple or I would find a person, and not necessarily that I'm stalking or creeping or anything like that, but it was just seeing what they were doing in that moment. And it could spark a storyline in a heartbeat. That's really what it was for me in the beginning. Wow. Now, social media has probably given me more stories than I could probably ever write in my lifetime. Wow. That is the simple God's honest truth, because people love to have the ability to have whatever 15 minutes of fame they feel like they need or deserve or want or whatever. And I am here for it all, because what you write eventually goes in a book. I promise you that.
That's good. So does any of the characters that you write, is any of them a close link to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a degree of separation in any of the characters that I have. As far as the main characters, as far as my leading men are concerned, the leading men are different aspects of my own personality, and different aspects, regardless of their age. It might have been whoever it was I was in that moment at that age. That's really what it was as far as my leading men are concerned. Their love interest can be any person, any woman that was probably a muse for me at that moment, with regard to who they might have been to me at that moment, whether they were a romantic interest, whether they were just a very close best friend, anything along those lines. That's where I drew a lot of the inspiration, a lot of their personalities, that type of thing. As far as that is, that's really what it is at that point. Whether any of them are based on real people, no, I'll never divulge that secret, because too many people will try to figure it out, and I ain't got time for 20 questions.
Okay, that's good. Now, a lot of people don't know that you are a coach. So can you share with us your coaching style?
My coaching style is, at times it can be abrasive. At times it can be very intense, depending on what it is that I'm trying to get you to write. The things that I don't try to do is I don't try to micromanage. I just need you to do what you do. That's really what it is at the end of the day. I don't need to hover. I don't need to write the story for you or anything along those lines. Anything that you write, I want to see what your voice is, and then I want to see what I can do to enhance it. If it's not much that I can do, I will get you to an editor that will.
Shakir.
Yes.
Marie asks, are there any tribe members in your books?
Woo!
Yeah, look at the time. That's enough. That is an unequivocal, emphatic, absolute no.
And Naleighna Kai gets really excited about that.
Because a whole
I have enough.
In trouble.
Look, I have enough in my circle, in my circle of associations that are more than willing to advertise themselves and invite themselves into the fictional renditions of themselves. I don't have to worry about touching tribe at any point in my career ever.
Wait. I don't like the way you answered that. It sounded too happy to not include somebody like me.
Oh my God,
right. And then Shakir, I have a question. What kind of pressures do you feel as a Black man in this industry? Is there support for Black? Like, I can get on here and be like, Black women read and Black women writes and stuff like that. We can find stuff like that. Is there things like that for Black men writers out there, or where do you envision,
Yeah, honestly, no. It's not necessarily that it's anybody's fault per se. I think it's a simple matter of we as men, when it comes to gathering for different things, when it comes to writing in general, we as men, when it comes to reading, we are more in the nonfiction world. If I was a nonfiction author and a male of color, that type of thing, the support would be absolute. There would be other men that would embrace and literally push without any harm or qualm or anything along those lines. But when it comes to the fiction side, because it's been such a female dominant industry for decades, it puts me in the position of being a double minority in a lot of instances. I'm both male and I'm Black, so it makes it very difficult for me to get any kind of headway or steam in terms of being able to be seen as quickly as as a female counterpart that would start off at the same timeline as I would. What I have done is I haven't necessarily griped about it, not in public anyway. A few tribe members already know my gripes and complaints, and having the backhanded compliment of, well, you write well for a man, that type of thing. But there is, sometimes it's just a matter of being able to have the ability to try and find a common ground with another male who is writing. The majority of the men that I know that are writing fiction, the majority of them are in genres that I just don't write in, as far as the fiction world is concerned.
And okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
I will say that there have been several men that have tried to become members of Tribe. We are not just exclusive to women. They don't make it past Shakir's gauntlet, because I don't want any of my stuff to get in the way. I send them Shakir's way, and he has a series of things that he asked them about being serious about being part of the Tribe, and their intentions on writing and their goals and dreams and desires. They don't make it past his gauntlet. So my thing, he's very protective of us. He's very protective of our space, our process, what we're doing. And I will say, he and JL, they're here. So we want more members. I actually wanted some balance, because I don't want it to seem like that I favor female authors. So when I had a conversation with him, so I step out of the way and I throw them his way. I'm telling you, they don't make it. They don't make it. You got to be serious.
To JL's point, unfortunately, it does become a pissing contest. We're alpha dogs. I mean, that's just let's just keep that real. There tends to be, when it comes to getting men in a grouping situation, there eventually becomes a hierarchy that has to be maintained, or that has to be adhered to, or gets fought over in a lot of instances. So when you get the chance to find like minds, when it comes to the male perspective, you hold on to them as best and as quickly as humanly possible. It's the reason why EJD's death hit me so hard, because he was one of the few in the industry that did not care. He was going to push. He was going to help. He was going to help encourage when and where he could, based on his schedule and the time that he had the ability to do. It's rare. It's just rare.
Indeed. We have questions.
What has been like your best experience during this writing journey, if you can call one out?
Honestly, it's been the best out of the entire bit was actually just breaking out initially. Everybody loves to have that. Everybody says that, writing books is not that hard, or it's not that much to worry over and that type of thing. But that red cover that you see is the culmination of 10 years of grind behind the scenes, where I literally had to figure out what that was going to look like, how it was going to take shape before I even put it out as an indie. And not knowing what the hell I was doing at the time that I even came out as an indie. I mean, I learned as much as I could, but eventually it was sink or swim. And for me, that's what it felt like at that point. So when that book finally came through and it finally hit and was on my dining room table at the time, it was my moment. It was my watershed moment. It was, okay, this is real. Let's do this. And from there, it was just all speed forward.
Indeed. We have one more question before we slide to the one gotta go, and then the last author, and we're going to wrap it up to give people the break. We'll be back here again with the Entangled Spotlight, and Shakir is going to share the good news, and he's running point and lead along with the Tribe for that particular segment. We have Tracy Wolf, Shakir Rashaan, as well as Lisa Rain, and that'll be a segment, and then we'll take a break. And tonight, Tribe, that's where the prizes come out. We will have book bingo, one gotta go, and Tribe will do some readings as well, but that's about a couple of hours later tonight where we're gonna have fun, and that's when we're gonna give away the prizes and the freebies. And Reese Rain is shipping some books this way for us to ship out to winners, as well as we have some, codes that came from Naacp Digital that are going to be available as well. And Tribe has some freebies as well. Make sure, Tribe, that you drop your social taps in the chats for everyone to have, because this is a new set of people. Also, I need you to go onto the Facebook, my Facebook page, and drop your social taps there with your name and your social tap, because it is streaming live on Facebook at the same time that we're here in Zoom. It is also streaming live on Facebook, and they need to know how to get in touch with everyone. There is this question from Michelle. Can you compare the benefits of being an indie author and the benefits of being traditionally published? Has that been asked already?
I don't remember if it is, no.
Okay, so this is from Michelle. So if you could answer that, and then we're going to transition to one guy.
Yeah. That's quick. That's quick and dirty. Distribution is the main reason to do traditional publishing. Other than that, my personal perspective would be to be an indie, because I have control over every aspect of it, whether it's my editor, whether it's my cover designer, whether it's the marketing, different things along those lines. I am my own boss. When it comes to being a traditional published author, you technically have to have the gift of negotiation. If you do not know how to negotiate, if you feel like it has to be your way all the time, you're gonna fail in that industry quick, fast, and in a hurry, because they dictate. They do not collaborate.
Well, on that note, can you tell us how we can stay connected with you?
Absolutely. Everything is at home. ShakirRashaan.com. All my social media is on my homepage. If you want to find out more with regard to that, everything is literally there. All of the social media aspects that I have, you can sign up for my newsletter there as well. All of the different things that need to be done at that particular point. So that's me. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for being here with us. Yes. And we're gonna make this, hold on. This is gonna be good. All right, this is from your mentee. She put this one together. This one's gonna be interesting. And I want the readers, I want you to chime in the chat. One gotta go.
Holy smokes.
Burgers, fried chicken, Chinese food, or lunch food. That looks like,
oh no, that looks like a grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese.
I know it's lunch food, but I mean, it's still gotta be.
Look like grilled cheese to me.
Okay, so grilled cheese, Chinese food, fried chicken, or burgers and fries. What's gotta go?
Yeah, grilled cheese gotta go.
Okay, JL, who said, did Jeremy?
Thank you.
What?
Grilled cheese gotta go.
Grilled cheese gotta go.
No grilled cheese. Grilled cheese is what we grew up on now.
Not me.
Oh,
Look,
you're too busy.
I think I was in, it was somewhere in Canada. I think it was Montreal, where they do grilled cheese with all these different cheeses, and they'll put like pear or something else into it, and they just take it to a whole new level. So I'm gonna go with burger, because I've eaten some grilled cheese that were gourmet.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Thank
you. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. And don't forget to add bacon if you do that. Bacon makes everything better.
Not a grilled cheese.
Yes to the bacon.
Yes.
Grilled cheese, grill and cheese. Everything else, it ain't a grilled cheese sandwich no more.
See, that's just wrong. What do you say, Marie? What's gotta go?
The burger's gotta go.
Burger's gotta go. I want Culver's for lunch. Wait, look at JL's face. Oh my God. Stephanie, what's gotta go? Let's roll this really quickly. Stephanie?
Grilled cheese.
Oh, out of here. Ooh, Thelma put a burger. Look at what she put in the chat, y'all. She put a burger.
She just throw the emoji out there. Okay.
Okay, Marseille?
None of them. I eat whatever does not bite me back. That's sometimes what I do.
Wait. You eat whatever doesn't bite you back. All right then. That didn't sound PG, but I'm just gonna keep it rolling. Kadisha?
Grilled cheese gotta go.
Oh man. JL Campbell? We can't hear you.
Sorry, grilled cheese. There's no substance in it.
There's cheese.
Oh,
Say no.
it's bread and cheese.
That's not food. It just comes in someone on its own.
some
Y'all have
things
to
you get
branch
as
out.
like
You
a
gotta branch
6-year-old.
out.
Sierra
Okay.
K, they are
Janice?
just not, they're not up on it.
They
They're
don't
not
know.
up
Hey,
on it.
No, they're
right,
not.
we are there. Janice?
Chinese.
Okay, I can get that.
But they are the only thing that's open on Thanksgiving if you burn a turkey.
No further comment.
He does have a point. He does. And you know, that's a Jewish tradition. I think it's New Year's Eve or New Year's or whatever it is. That is the meal for Jewish people on, I think, New Year's Eve, because it is the only restaurant that is open. It is, the Chinese restaurants are open. So Dr. V, did you chime in?
I'm with Marseille. I eat anything that doesn't bite me back.
Okay. I'm done with both of y'all.
There is my mentor.
Then let's not start talking about live lobsters then, okay?
Oh, live.
Right.
No, we're not trying to do that. I see you, Tony Benita. She said, I'm glad. What did she say? I'm glad you grilled cheese haters are writers and not foodies. Thank you, Tony.
It's grilled
Oh,
cheese.
That part.
I could be a foodie. Look, I could be a foodie all day and hit a whole lot of stuff, but that ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Well, Bonnie Taylor Williams said, I love grilled cheese sandwiches, especially with tomato soup. I guess it would be Chinese for her.
But it has to be
Lisa Howard
it has
said,
to be paired with something.
so what you trying to say?
It's not grilled cheese on its own.
Well, yes, there's the
There's
grease.
a point. There's a point, but
We gonna talk. We gonna talk about it. We gonna leave it alone.
I'm
Oh, Jesus.
Y'all just hating on the good stuff. We grew up on.
Ah.
And now introducing Naleighna Kai. And
I thought this was a one gotta go. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, it wouldn't be me.
Of course. But I'm like, man, come on now.
Well, you want us to do a one gotta go? Okay, hold on. Wait.
No, I thought what you put up there was a one
Let's
gotta
do a quick one. Let's start it off with some fun. This is all about us having a good time with readers.
Sorry, Lisa, you need to look at the comment. There's a comment there about cheese.
What does it say?
it's something
cheese is nothing but mo.
You know what? I saw that. I wasn't even gonna say that.
everything.
I
in
saw
there.
that one.
Me either. Like, what?
Here we go. So one gotta go. What is this? Gauchos, harem pants, bell bottoms, and what do you call it? Distressed jeans. Which one's gotta go? So for me, it would be the harem pants, the MC Hammer pants, the harem pants. They gotta go.
Yeah, those gotta go.
Okay, JL Woodson.
I ain't wearing no bell bottom, so that gotta go.
Shakir.
Nah, the bell bottoms gotta go.
We got gauchos. Okay, Erica. Let's roll it really quickly. Erica.
Yeah, hammer has to go for me.
JL Campbell.
What the top?
The harem
Hammer
pants.
pants.
Two at the top.
I'm only keeping the distressed jeans. All the rest of them can go.
Sierra K.
Long enough, not short enough. Gauchos.
Ooh, okay, I got you. Dr. V.
Hammer got to go.
Ooh, Janice.
I agree with Donna D. All of them have to go, but if I have to choose one, it'd be the hammer pants.
Ooh, okay, Marie.
Hammer pants gotta go.
Okay, did I get you, Kadisha?
Hammer time has got to go. This is not the 90s.
Okay.
But kids are bringing stuff like that back all
No,
day.
not that. That's not coming back. Let's get that in the 90s
That's not gonna go.
with his career.
I hear you.
Somebody might want to walk around looking like a genie, but you know.
Oh, no, that's not gonna work.
Did I catch everybody?
Yep, they so.
Okay, so we're gonna slide into me really briefly because I want people to have a nice amount of break and come back. I am on the hot seat, and I will say that I am a USA Today and Essence Magazine national bestselling author of 30 novels. I am a literary agent who has landed book deals for clients with traditional publishing houses such as Simon & Schuster, Harlequin, and an imprint distributed by Macmillan, it's Entangled, as well as I am the founder of Naleighna Kai's Tribe Called Success. I wanted to name it A Tribe Called Success, but that was already taken on for the domain name, so it ended up being Naleighna Kai's A Tribe Called Success. I'm also founder of the Cavalcade of Authors, which is now in its 17th year. Yes, indeed. And I have been in this literary industry for over 20 years, and this is my life. I love playing bid whist and spades. Well, bid whist, because that's for the grown-ups, I'm just saying. I love Chicago style stepping. I love traveling. I love food. But let me tell you, I love this writing, this literary industry thing. That's what they say, that's my jam. That's my jam. That's my jam. So I am going to put it on the hot seat because most people here have heard my journey. So it's now time for Tribe and the readers to ask questions of me regarding, so I can answer what you want to hear. And we're not going to be here very long because we are over to, Janice already got a good. Yes, Miss Janice. Let me just.
No, it triggered when you said you've been 20 years, in the industry. So you've learned a lot of lessons in that time. What are one or two lessons that had the biggest impact, whether positive or negative, on you?
So see what had happened was.
What had happened?
When I first began writing, it was to write a story that was pinned with this guy that I had met over the internet. And he was the writer. And let me tell you that I learned the biggest lesson of getting things in writing and having your legal work together, your paperwork together, because he became extremely jealous in the process. And how can I say, by the time we were doing the first book, it was 3 of us. It was me, a friend, and him. We were writing this book together and it was going to be amazing. It was called More Than Enough. And suffice it to say, my son was actually on the first cover of my book because we weren't getting good feedback from the other males that we had chosen. Well, I did all of the writing because he wasn't turning his work in on time. And then as soon as we're going to press and everything, he wants to come along and he wants 50%. Haven't picked up pen or nothing. We kept saying, turn this in. We need your work. We need your work. We need your work. He wasn't doing any of that. And it got to be a point we still didn't want to miss our deadlines or anything like that. And we turned it in. And now he wants 50%. So I had to get the lawyers involved. You base a character on this man's life. It was a character, it was minor. And I learned the lesson. Had the lawyer. We worked it out. He didn't pay for editing, cover design, interior design, the photo shoots. None of the stuff. We did photo shoots back in that day to do covers. He didn't put in a single dime, but yet he wanted 50%. So I got the lawyer involved. And the lawyer said, you know what? Lesson learned. Make it where he doesn't get a dime till after I get my first money back. He doesn't get a dime, and it cannot be 50%. He won't get it until we sell over 2,000 copies of this book. Okay, so people, my peoples, how many books did I have printed?
1999.
Damn Skippy. Damn straight. Damn straight. And now I am writing, I've written another book based on that. I killed his character off in the first 3 paragraphs to redo it, period. Lesson learned, get it in writing. Outline what everything and everybody is supposed to do in writing. And when they fail to not do the things, fail to do the things that they're supposed to do, what are the consequences? Number one, you also have to really vibe with the people that you're going to collaborate with, but also he was jealous. He was the writer. And all of a sudden, because I started writing and then I started writing for healing, I wrote 6 novels within a 2-year period, but he was writing long before me, poetry, erotic poetry, all of these different things. The jealousy that kicked in was phenomenal. And I didn't recognize it as such. I just thought he was just busy and being sluggish until he asked for the money. When he asked for the money, I knew he was on some stuff. And I wasn't having it. I printed 1,999 copies of that book, point blank, period. Never saw a dime, but I picked up the lesson. That never happened again. So that's my answer on that. Girl, I got my neck rock, my hood came out with that one. Because it was no reason he still hasn't published a book to this day. Never published.
We have a question from Marvis Henderson asking, what is the future for the literary world, in your opinion?
For the world, I think we shifted right now. I think in my mind's eye, I see that Black authors are getting a fair shake. I think our voices are going to be heard more now. I hate that it took such a drastic thing to happen for the industry, several industries, to turn on themselves and take a good look at what they've been doing. You know, we've always known that things have been unfair in someone else's favor. And now I'm telling you, and I'm going to bring this up, and I know this is tough, but when we heard that man, when he called for his mama, every woman, every Black woman felt it all the way down to her soul, but every woman felt it down to her soul. Even, I don't care how much you harbor resentment or hatred, that blatant act right there just put a spotlight. We've already known, we've been marching for this in the 60s. And let me tell you, civil rights did not end because we were speaking up. It ended because other people, white folks, Jewish folks were marching. They were raising their voices. And then the cameras were turned worldwide on America, and it was pointing out the injustices, and America got embarrassed on a world level and had to do something. When white folks started speaking up and out against, okay, that's just wrong. It's been wrong, but it's now being, they said what is it? The revolution will be televised, will not be televised. Well, it was those televisions and it being widespread and people knowing all of these things and seeing it blatantly. And here it is again. How many decades later, we're still at it. Well, now the publishing industry turned on, and what was that? Publishing paid me. Hashtag publishing paid me.
Paid me. Yep.
That was one of the biggest explosion of white authors opening up and being vulnerable and saying, hey, y'all, this is what the publishers gave me. This is the advance I got. This is that, this, that, and the third. Yeah. And all of a sudden, then Black authors started penning, well, I got 1/10 of what you got. And I didn't even get the marketing and promotion support. I didn't get this, that. And let me tell you, so now publishers are saying they want to hear from more Black voices. They're going to hear from tell more Black stories. And it happened with BookBub when we tried to get a advertising deal for King of Arabia, which is an interracial romance. They declined it because they wanted a Black experience totally. So that was a shift. And that was an understanding that Black voices are important. Well, we've always read books. You know, who put Elan Harris on the New York Times bestsellers list? Who put Mary B. Morrison on the New York Times bestseller list? Eric Jerome Dickey. Who else? Mary Monroe. Kimberly Lawson Roby. Zane. Who put them on the New York Times bestsellers list? Because at that point in time, white readers weren't picking up those books. And I'll just be blatantly honest. Sometimes white folks have a problem picking up books with Black folks on the cover. Black folks have never had a problem picking up books with white folks on the cover. So now that's changing. And the publishers are trying to be there to meet that demand. Well, a demand that's always been there. But now they're saying 25% of Walmart's shelf space is going to be for own voices. Own voices. So if you want to look up hashtag own voices, hashtag publishing paid me. And then it was a big explosion with Romance Writers of America. There was that, it blew up this whole thing where they were disparaging a person of color. I think she was of Asian descent, I'm not sure. But she was calling out some racist practices, as well as who they were supporting on the page and what they were publishing. And she brought attention to it and they tried to silence her. And all it took was a tweet. All it took was a Twitter rant. And let me tell you, it dismantled Romance Writers of America from the ground up on how they treat people of color. So now they have more Black people on the board, Black authors on the board. They have more speaking out and they're more inclusive. This diversity has become a thing. Diversity was always a thing. But now the publishing revolution is being televised.
Yep. Courtney Milan, absolutely.
Indeed, Courtney Milan, yes, that was the one who, I mean, it was an amazing thing to see.
You lit the match and all hell went down.
Yeah, all hell.
You want to mention that the Black lady, Vivian,
Yes, Romance Writers. You tell us, Vivian started Romance Writers of America. She was a Black woman, African-American woman. She started Romance Writers of America, and a couple of years later, she was pushed out of her own company, her own convention, everything to do with it. She started her own association. White women took it over and pushed her out. And now she's just getting her just desserts, her just due. Now that this all blew up last year with everything, it started turning itself. Everybody started paying attention. Romance Writers of America was started by a Black woman to include everyone. And she included the wrong ones. And they pushed her out. And it's 30 years later. And she's now just being recognized for the powerful woman that she was.
Mm-hmm.
And is, because she's still alive. And I'm so glad this happened where she could see it.
Yes, absolutely.
Indeed, don't get me started. Who was on soapbox earlier? What was that? Victoria Christopher Murray. She was on the soapbox. Let me get off my soapbox.
Yeah, that part.
But yes.
Well, while you're stepping off of your soapbox, Karen wants to know, is there one book that you really want to see made into a movie?
Just one?
Right.
I would have to say, I think it would be King of Arabia. I think it would, I would have said Open Door Marriage. I would have said Loving Me for Me. Those are my top three. Those are my favorites.
I think Rich Woman's Fetish should definitely be on Netflix.
Huh?
Rich Woman's Fetish should definitely be on Netflix.
Yeah, that's some of my darker work though. And I'm not quite, it would have to be after they see some more stuff from me. That wouldn't be one I would want to see out first, because I wouldn't want people to think that that's all I write is darkness. I loved King of Arabia. That my all-time favorite for now, because I think we're gonna have some more good ones coming out. Like I love King of Devon. I love what we did as a tribe with Kings of the Castle. I love that you all showed up and put love on the page. So I think okay, let's stick with King of Arabia because I could go there.
Yeah, that part.
And let me show you guys what some of the stuff I have going on. So let me share the screen and let's see this is just some of my books. Yeah. And J.L. Woodson designed all of these covers. And as you can see, my branding is the large lettering, and that's something he helped me with, was the branding of things. So yeah, and Kings of the Castle, all of that. So anyway, and King of Devon, I love those. And My Time in the Sun. My Time in the Sun is my only Christian fiction. So if you want something lighter, my short ones, Sugar Ain't So Sweet, Stop in the Name of Love, all of those. So those are my books. Any other questions? And we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes.
I've got one. Because you have such a big heart and you're so generous in this cutthroat industry, how do you deal with backstabbing, betrayal, and egos, especially with the different type of personalities that you work with or come across? And, what advice would you give to us when we encounter something like that?
Ooh, look at the time. Okay.
Yeah,
it's cutthroat. I mean, it's not an industry that's not a joke, but we do want to be prepared in case,
Okay. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy to deal with, because I feel this which is why I narrowed down the people that I work with to a tribe, because there are so many people that try to pull on me and pull me in this direction, that direction. They want me to do this and work with me. And I get all of this. I want to chat with you. I want to pick your brain. Honey, what's in my brain is worth more than lunch, dinner, and coffee. I give all the free stuff that I have to give. If you click the link in my Instagram bio, it takes you to the free tips. If you're writing your book, starting writing your book, if you're published, it takes you to the free tips for marketing and promotion. All the free stuff I have to give, I put it out there. People, when they're starting to want one-on-ones and things of that sort, that's when you schedule some time and a consultation. That way that I'm not giving so much to everyone else that I have no energy to give to myself and to my tribe. I had to learn that. The betrayal part, I will be honest, that has been tough. And it is because I have an open heart and I want to believe in everyone. I want to believe that everyone is in my corner. And tribe knows I have shifted people out of tribe. When they get those egos and they get feeling like I don't have to do what everybody else in the tribe is doing or this, that, and the other. No, I try to hold everyone to the same standard because I'm not playing favorites. All of y'all my favorites. I love all of y'all. But I also make sure that people who are in the tribe and in my writing family are people that I can trust. I can actually call up Erica. Erica, I need to sleep on your couch for a week. I got a place to stay. And she's not going to tell the whole tribe that whatever, you know. I can call Marseille and say, Marseille, I need you to come to Chicago because I need some help. I need some support. I can call on anyone in my immediate circle, right? My tribe right here. You all are not just strangers I met on Clubhouse or online or at the Cavalcade. You guys are my family. I had to cultivate my family. I didn't get to choose my biological family, but I get to choose my soul family. And you guys actually have more of a relationship with me than some of my biological family. And my son will bear witness to that. My biological family, people who don't understand my vision, my drive, my journey, I can love you, but I can give that unconditional love at a distance. I can support you, but I can do that from a distance. I don't have to have you all up in my life. If you're giving me that negative vibe or that energy, why you think you can do this? Or who do you think you are? No, I don't have to, I know who I am. I know what my purpose is. This writing thing, this is my passion. This is my call. It's not just a passion, it's a calling. I can't see a day without writing and telling my truth in my stories. I can't see a day without my tribe. That's why when it's time to let one of you guys go, how long did it take for that last person? It took me actually a year. But then when it came down and I had to listen to you all see things that I don't see. And when y'all start pulling the coattail, hey, have you noticed this, that, and the third? And I finally have to be faced with it and I have to make that decision. It hurts. I cry. I lost sleep over that because everything is important to me. Us taking this journey, this has been one powerful journey. This has been one powerful undertaking. Every last one of you guys are here, and girls are here because you guys are on a direct trajectory to success. And you guys are very much part of that red line, my red line from 95th Street to downtown Chicago. And we're all making it at the same time. When we got that offer from that publishing house, and it came for all of us in that one day because she saw our branding, but she also read each one of our works. What she said, she read 10 pages of each book to know that, number one, we was not just on our branding game, but we were on our writing game. And she says, I like what y'all about. I don't understand y'all, but I like what you're doing. They don't have to understand us. We have to understand us. So when it comes to ego, you guys keep me in check. How many times have I called you guys up and said, okay, this is what's on the table. Help me to poke holes in this situation so I'm balanced in my response and in my actions. Shakir's been on with me 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Look, sis, my son, Mom, I love you, but I need you to be more present in the moment. He told me that. It was one other person that told me, and my son co-signed on it. And he said, yeah, I can tell when you zoned out. You'll say, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He said, you're listening, but you're not hearing me. So now when I get a call from one of you guys, if I can't take the call, I won't. I'll say I'll call back or whatever. But I'm present in the moment by getting off the computer. I'm getting off Clubhouse because this is family. So the egos, when somebody says, well, I'm better than everybody else and I don't have to do what tribe, we have these particular things. 3 things that tribe has to do is the content, the covers, and cross promote. Those are 3 things that tribe does. Anytime you feel that you can't keep up with that demand, you don't need to be tribe. The people who are in tribe now, they totally understand that. And I get that. So I have my soul family, but I do my most growing because the biggest ego I have to deal with is my own. You guys help to keep that balance and keep me in check because ego can dismantle all of this and what we're building. Me getting all up in my feelings or taking stuff personal or what? No, I don't have to neck rock when it comes to that. I got my writing family. I know what we're about to do. And blowing up is a small sliver of things. I look at Shakir's success, which you guys are going to have to come back and hear Shakir's success when it happens with the next segment of the Cavalcade. This is huge. That is something that is so close to my heart that all of us are about to walk through this door. I busted that door open. We busted that door open by sacrificing, putting the kings of the castle on the table. It got us the attention of what we needed to make that next step in life. And there are people who told me that I would go further and faster if I cut Tribe loose. But some of those same people still haven't achieved what Tribe has because we are Tribe. We got picked up by that major publishing house because they liked Tribe. I probably would not have gotten it individually. I've been trying individually, but it took Tribe. It took togetherness. It took that unity to help us to walk through that door. Whew.
There's like two other questions.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
That I didn't want to for us to forget about. One is from Sol Saray. Naleighna, what is the first book that made you cry?
You mean of my own, or?
It just says, what is the first book that made you cry?
Okay, no, which book made me cry?
She said no, no, so I'm guessing not of your own.
Actually, it would have been your book, Jeremy. It would have been your book. When I read The Things I Could Tell You and know how us having to live in hiding impacted you and how protecting Vina impacted you, I didn't understand we had to live in hiding to protect someone who was leaving an abusive, almost deadly husband, had put her on her back for 2 months. And it got to be a point, in order to come to safety, she ended up having to throw her belongings out of the window for the cab driver to catch it and get her to the airport. And she came here to Chicago. That's how we ended up having to change Jeremy's school, my son's school. I had to change jobs. I had to change where we lived in order to protect her. And he wrote The Things I Could Tell You right after that time. And it showed how it impacted him of the time that we had to drive to the airport to get her. And she called because I had to rush to the airport because it was just when some bomber had done some things and we had bought the ticket in another name and she couldn't get on the plane. And I didn't even have shoes on. We left that house. He didn't have shoes on. I drove barefoot from south side of Chicago. Well, no, we were in Dalton. We were in near Calumet City at that point in time. And I drove to the airport and I begged the people to let me in the front of the line to pay for this woman's ticket on this end. And they allowed that. And the people on the other end, we paid here in Chicago and they had to call the people in New York to get her on that plane because the man was at a Million Man March and he had called and said the buses weren't letting them go to the Million Man March. And he was on his way back home. And she had to get out of there because she was packed and she had to leave because she thought he was going to be gone and she was going to leave. And he wrote about that in The Things I Could Tell You. So the first book that made me cry, that would have been it. Because seeing how he was afraid to leave the house, my son was afraid to leave the house because he feared for her safety, even though she was safe. And how she dismantled the day that he was late coming home from school or the bus, and she went to go pick my son up from the bus stop, and she broke out in tears because she thought her husband had found her and had taken my son. It was, yeah.
And there was one other question from Linda. She wanted to know she wanted to know, I even hate to ask a question. You're okay? All right. She wanted to know what prompted you to create Cavalcade of Authors.
I got a call from the Chicago Public Library and they wanted a Black event. And they said that they would give us marketing and promotion support if I put on an event because it was an author from another city, I think Ohio. And they asked me for a reference for her and I could not give a reference. I just said I wasn't familiar, which was not necessarily the truth. I knew that author had that person had some practices that, how can I say it? She had tore her draws with several publishing houses because she took money from them and didn't do what she was supposed to do with it. And I could not put my cosign on something like that. all the way down to it happened during Book Expo America. All of these people, the publishers, the authors, and everybody and readers showed up for an event, and the venue turned everyone away because she hadn't done what she was supposed to do. She hadn't paid them. And they weren't playing that. They turned everyone away, and it made it bad and hard for event planners who were Black to give events and have a connection with publishers, because she kind of tainted the waters. So when they said that they wanted me to host an event and they would give me marketing and promotion support, I gave my first one. I've done events on smaller scales, but not necessarily book events. But it was, church, you did the fashion shows and the banquets and things of that. So I had a little bit of experience, but Lord, did I put my foot in it when I did that first cavalcade. It was like 20 events in one weekend, different bookstores, Walden Books, Borders, all of these things, and transporting all the authors to different places. We had restaurants, it was a very big undertaking. The cavalcade has evolved over the years, but even though I've gone in the hole sometimes, I've gone into my 401k, like I say, what 401k? Because I had a certain standard for the cavalcade. There's class, there's warmth, there's connection, all of these things, but I never wanted to cut corners or pinch pennies. It has always had a certain standard, and I've kept to that standard all the way along the line. But it was the Chicago Public Library who wanted me to host, and that's why it's in October most times, is because that is Chicago Book Festival month. And they used to print up our event and put it in all of the Chicago venues, City of Chicago venues. It was all of that. So that's how the cavalcade started. And I continued year after year. And it used to be that you have to drive and get to where you were. And then I changed it to a destination event because a book club requested it. And those people never even came, but it became a thing where it became a destination event. And now we're going to Dubai next year. We were supposed to be in the Bahamas this year, but because of the pandemic and everything, having to shift. But yeah, the cavalcade, it's for tribe. This event is for tribe. I'm constantly out there making a name for myself on Clubhouse, and I'm, building up on Instagram, but this is my outlet for my tribe family to get their visibility. I say I bring all the readers to the yard, and you get to introduce yourself to the readers of the authors that we bring in, as well as the ones who want to see what we're up to. So that's where the cavalcade began.
I don't know if you've had a chance to see some of these responses to when you were sharing about the story that made you cry. One of them says, "Thank you, I see you in a different light and understand the person that you are." And another one
Tony
said,
Benita, that's Mama Tony. She has been around in the industry and one of the biggest supporters of Black authors for years. She has been, if there's any Black event, trust me, she's there. If there's any Black author, that I would say the old guard, you got Brenda Jackson and Beverly Jenkins, you're gonna see Tony Benita there. Yeah.
Yes. Kadisha said, "This is why we love you so much. You're the real deal." Lucille said, "Naleighna, thanks for sharing. Brought tears to my eyes."
Indeed, I forget about that. And I see Jeremy had to go because that was a very, very tough time. But all of those were building blocks into who we became and our experiences. We couldn't write about them if we didn't have them. They were painful at the time. And I remember him in that car sitting on the seat, and I'm driving. I think I didn't realize a car can start vibrating at 120 miles per hour. When I say I was flooring it to get to the airport to pay, I was flooring it. And he was holding on for dear life. And he said he didn't even realize the world looked like it was traveling backwards. But we had a story to tell from that. And I didn't understand how it affected him until I read The Things I Could Tell You. And we're going to put that in ebook within a month. I have it sitting here on my computer, and I just so happen to have it transferred from trade paperback because it's so old, and had to have somebody to break it down and put it in design. But we're going to put it in ebook within a month. Any other questions? Because I want to wrap you guys up. Okay, so on that note, let's do something a little bit fun. Oh, this ought to be good. I thank everyone for being here. All my tribe, the readers, This is being streamed live on Facebook. If you want to go to Facebook, the people who are in the chat, if you want to share it to your pages or tag some people so they can see it, all this wonderfulness that we're giving. You know, we didn't charge anybody to be here. Even the one in October, if you look in the link that I sent at the very bottom of the schedule, we're already planning for October 8th through the 10th for the main cavalcade. We're going to have, you know, more authors, new authors, all the way down the line. So you want to go grab those, because we have to keep it at a certain amount of people in order to make sure that, you know, nobody gets kicked out or isn't able to get into the event. So you guys are the first ones to get the links to go and register for the cavalcade in the fall. All right, one gotta go. Oh, this is mean, JL.
All of them except Law and Order SVU.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. CSI Miami's got to go for me.
I'm with you, CSI Miami.
NCI Los Angeles.
Yeah.
CSI for me.
CSI for me.
Yes, CSI for me.
NCIS.
What did you say, Stephanie?
NCIS.
What?
Yeah.
Which one?
Both can really go.
The one with his head looks like a milk dud. What's his name?
LL Cool J.
A milk dud.
Yes, him.
Not LL. That's actually the only reason why. Same way with Bridgerton. I'm sorry. I know Shakir. I don't even want to hear from you. I'm just saying. I like historical fiction. But I'm telling you, I watched it because they had a brother in the lead. It's about even though, you know, they took liberties with the book, I still watched it, and they should know that, because all of those women watched it because there was at least a brother there in the lead or whatever. That should tell them something. We want to see ourselves. Oh God, and those cheeks, that brother got ass.
Oh no, it's the way he licked that spoon. It was everything.
Yeah, that was
it told the story.
Take the hell out of that spoon.
I know. What did the readers say? What did the readers say?
He's gone now.
Exactly, he's gone now. It is what it is.
Yeah.
They can't get past a milk dud comment.
I know, right? But we have to give Sister Shonda Rhimes her props.
Yes.
Her props. Because she made us care about something that some people had never watched it. That old fogey with all of those, you know, pomp and circumstance and all of the. She brought people to the yard that never had watched a historical, that would never even be interested. And she made it exciting. She made it exciting. But that was a good choice for her to make that man a Black man. I'm sorry. That down the line, between me, you, and the Wiretappers, I probably would not have watched it. I wouldn't have. I hadn't read the books, you know. So you dangled some good brother eye candy. I'm sorry. That was a damn good choice. So she got the rating. She got that. She gonna fall off on the second season a little bit, but she still gained more than she had because some people liked it. Exciting. You know, I'm just saying, but I'm just.
Now, I said I wasn't gonna watch it because he was gone, but I would probably watch it just because of Shonda Rhimes.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was the ass for me.
It was that spoon.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I know. We are so done. I'm just okay. So we're coming back here again. The next time we're showing up is the Entangled Spotlight at 3:00. So you guys eat, take a respite, take a nap, but be back here at 3:00 Tribe. You guys be here 10 minutes to 3. You guys are running point for Entangled. This is going to be Shakir's wheelhouse, but I'm just saying, you guys did the damn thing today. I'm so proud of Tribe. Y'all done growed it up. I'm just so proud of you. I love y'all. So we're going to give 30 seconds outros, and then we're going to shut this down. Thank you to the readers. Make sure you drop your sociotaps on the links here, as well as go to my Facebook page and drop your sociotaps there. Make sure you put it there. And if you wanted to do a couple of lines or one line of who you are, but I like it there because I shared it in about 12 different groups. So this is being live streamed in several readers and author groups. Okay, so 30-second outros. Let's hit it with Marie.
My name is Marie McKenzie. My first book, Things That Keep Me Up at Night, will be out in June. It's my memoir that trades my path from childhood trauma through to healing. I can be reached on social media and my website, marielmckenzie.com. Over to you, Joy.
I am J.L. Campbell, national best-selling author, writer of contemporary, paranormal, sweet romance, romantic suspense, women's fiction, and young adult fiction. I live and write from Jamaica, and my stories are not always set here, but the characters are Jamaican. And I always say I am sharing Jamaica one story at a time. I'm passing it over to Dr. V.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Howard. I'm affectionately known as Dr. V. I'm an award-winning educator and author. They say a cat has 9 lives and I've used all 9 of mine, but I'm still standing. My soon-to-be released project my soon-to-be released book From Projects to PhD will be out in June, and it will share all of the secrets that kept this cat purring.
That's good.
And you're throwing it to?
I'm throwing it to Janice. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Dr. V. That was a good one.
I know, right?
I am Janice M. Allen. My debut novel was No Right Way to Do a Wrong Thing. It is a book about good people making bad choices, bad people making even worse choices, and people learning the lesson that when you move heaven and earth to get what you want, you have to be prepared for all hell to break loose. I can be found on social media under Janice M. Allen. I enjoyed everything today, and I am throwing it to Shakir.
Not a problem. My name is Shakir Rashaan. I corrupt minds one book at a time. You can catch me later on today in the Entangled segment, where I will be speaking about all the craziness that's about to happen with that. You can reach me at shakirrashaan.com. All of my social media is there, and I look forward to seeing you guys in about 90 minutes. Khadijah.
All right, thanks, Shakir. My name is Khadijah Powell, and my debut memoir, Growing Up Joplin, will be out in June. And it is my experience about growing up in Joplin, Missouri, as one of few African Americans in an all-white Midwestern town. And you can find me on social media, Khadijah Powell. And I will kick it to my awesome writing partner, Erica B. Davis.
Thanks, Khadijah. My name is Erica B. Davis, and I am the author of Single Again, How to Live a Life Satisfied Until. It is scheduled to be released in June. And so if you're single, whether by choice or force, this one question is the beginning of the best chapter of your life. So whether your goal is to marry or to find a companion or to live your life single and satisfied, you can journey through the Single Again experience to prepare you for you until. I can be reached on social media platforms, including BookBub and Goodreads, and you can find me at www.ericabdavis.com. And I will pass it over to Queen Marseille.
Good afternoon. So glad to be here. I'm Marseille Scott, national bestselling author. I'm a manuscript evaluator, book coach, and developmental author, editor. And I'm a writer of contemporary fiction. I am Pen the Musings of Life. You can find me on all social media platforms, my social tap, and have a good afternoon. I'll see you all later on tonight.
And you're throwing
I'm tossing it to J.L. Woodson.
And he is
off screen.
Off screen.
Oh. He's back.
Back.
Oh, there he
is. I'm J.L. Woodson. I'm the author of Things I Could Tell You, So a Woman's Child, Son of a Single Mother, and Knight of Irondale. You can find me on social media at J.L. Woodson on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. My email My website is woodsoncreativestudio.com. If you need to email me about book cover designs, that is JLWoodson@Woodson Studio. I'm going to pass it over to my mother.
Wait. Podcast.
Oh, I am also the co-host of If It Isn't Love podcast, which comes out on Wednesdays. It's on Anchor. It's also on YouTube as well, where we discuss relationship topics as well as current events and all that great stuff. Also, I do live stream for Adobe at behance.net/JL Woodson. And now I'm going to pass it over to my mom. Right, go.
Okay.
Somewhere over there, up there.
You said your mom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You are my mom, right?
You know, you said it so fast. He was like, my mom. Okay, whatever. Naleighna Kai, USA Today and Essence Magazine, national best-selling author, a literary agent, book whisperer, book coach, developmental editor. You can find me. Where can y'all find me?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, Instagram, Twitter, BookBub, Goodreads, all those good places. Also, make sure you join the mailing list on www.naleighnakai.com. There's the Cavalcade of Authors.com. There's NKTribeCalledSuccess.com. There's the KingsOfTheCastle.com. There are the KnightsOfTheCastle.com. So there's all those places where you can stay up with Naleighna Kai and the tribe. And I am tossing it down to Stephanie.
Stephanie M. Freeman is the name. Murders and thrillers are my game. I wrote the Diamonds, Blood, and Shadows series. You're interested in finding out about me? Check out my website, StephanieMFreemanAuthor.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Remember the name, Stephanie M. Freeman. You'll be screaming it later.
Sierra.
My name is Sierra Kay. I'm an award-winning, best-selling suspense novelist. My stories strip away the sinister trappings of fantasy, fairy tales, and historical lore and expose them to the contemporary reader. You can find me at sierrakay.com and also on social media at author Sierra Kay.
Indeed. Did I think we get everybody? Was it Shakir? We got you?
Yes.
So everybody's all right. So on that note, we thank you for being here with us for the Cavalcade of Authors. We will be back here again with the Entangled Spotlight with Tracy Wolf, Shakir Rashaan, Lisa Rain, and then we'll have tribe outros and then another break. And then we're going to play book bingo. One gotta go, have readings from our tribe members later this evening. That's at 5:30. So the next one is between 3 and 4:30. And then we have a break from 5:30 to 7:30. Tonight is fun and games and all about tribe. So if you want to know more, if you're watching this live stream and you want to know more about the Cavalcade of Authors or how to be involved with these events, you can email me at naleighnakai@gmail.com. That's NALEIGHNAKAI, naleighnakai@gmail.com. So everybody unmute your mics. We're going to say good evening, and then we're going to stop the live streaming and do a little bit of after set. All right, everybody, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Good night, everybody. All right.
Thanks for joining. Yes, and see you later.
All right, so I'm going to stop the live stream and then I'm going to stop the recording.